Weird.
We can't all make declarations of hatred at the same time. Hi, everybody.
There are dozens of us. Dozens!
你好中国只叫西纳，我爱更尊重中。石油站。
Alson, help me up onto his casket so I can dance on it.
I don't care.
But how did you ever find us?
Oh, easy. We just read the screenplay you left us.
Glove gold! Glove gold! Glove gold!
You get nothing! You lose! Good day, sir!
I'll help you. Everything is sexist. Everything is racist. Everything is homophobic. And you have to point it all out.
Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
Huh? Zappuccino.
All right, it is Thursday night in Tooney Town, and that can only mean one thing. It is time for everyone's favorite pop culture podcast of the week. It is time for Tooney Talk TV. Folks, my name is Marvin, and I am the Movie Monster. I am Marvin the Movie Monster Montanero. So, you know, it's kind of like a moniker, like a wrestling name almost. I like it. But we're back for another week of pop culture conversation. Very, very excited to be here with you all. I was away last week sailing the ocean blue, narrowly avoiding death in some cases. We'll talk about that. But we have got a slew of things to talk about tonight. By the way, if you are a fan of Pedro Pascal, tonight is not the night for you to be here. Maybe take a walk, go get a drink, or just be open to hearing us drag him through the mud because he's getting it bad tonight. Because there's so much Pedro Pascal bashing that's coming at you guys tonight. So buckle up. But I can't bash Pedro Pascal alone. I need my bash brother tag partner for that. Kevin Apollo is here.
My man, how are you?
Let's get him.
I know.
Get that son of a bitch.
I wish when you were doing your opening monologue, and he said bash him, the song to Stop the Pigeon popped in my head. Would have changed the words to Stop Pedro.
Oh my gosh. Well, you know what? We're making music references, so we have to bring out our friend who is all about them music references.
Please, no. Covered with scorpions. Covered with scorpions.
No. Covered with scorpions. Get them off me.
I don't know what happened there. I don't know what happened. All right. Trish is here, everyone.
I'm laughing so hard. It started, I was like, what?
At the Cover with Scorpions.
Yes.
It's a running gag. You don't ever expect it. It's just the most random. Since the one day that I hit it randomly, and Kevin was like, what? Like, it's our version of the crab people thing from Pro Show.
Oh, that made me laugh. Thank you.
Oh, I'm so glad. Trish, I'm sure that, we're glad to have you here, and I'm sure your legion of fans who have united, and I believe are starting to call themselves the Trissionaries, are all just...
Did you just make that up?
I did, because I really want it to be a thing, because I want to make merch of it. So, yeah, no, it's a movement. The Trissionaries are taking over.
Like the BWO.
Yeah, no, we're taking over. That's a wonderful reference. Thank you for making that reference. Guys, if you were upset that we were a little late today.
Oh, I see. Oh, it was no one's fault. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Well then, problem solved.
Nolan Thunder is here. I'm kidding. It was not Nolan's fault that we were late, but I like to tease Nolan, and I like any excuse to play that clip.
Actually, I think you could blame me for that one, but I'm here still bawling at the name Trissionaries. Like, that's my favorite word of the day.
Perfect, isn't it? I thought of it today, and I was like, oh man, that's gold. That's gonna catch on.
That's gold.
That's money. Like,
good job, me.
Well, way to go, me. It's like, yeah. I'm totally gonna beat Trish on this one.
I defeated Scrooge McDuck! We were on the same team!
All right, guys. Martin Stone, welcome to the show today.
Thank you. I'm wearing my puffy shirt and short pants. I am ready.
Oh my gosh. His fashion sense it offends me to my core. I don't know. I hate Pedro Pascal now in the way that like Spencer hates Simu. It's that level for me. I just cannot stand that man. But you know, someone who I love. Lauren Connor is here, everyone.
Lauren! I'm wearing my short shirt and my puffy pants. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I would expect nothing less.
Now, will you do me a favor? And nothing against anybody else on this panel, but could you possibly hide myself, Martin, Nolan, and Trish for a moment?
Hide you, Nolan, Martin, and Trish? Yeah, why?
Just do it. I want to show you something.
Okay. I don't know what he's showing us because he's I see what he's doing. I can't hide you without.
Well, look at the graphic.
What? Oh no! Oh no! What was that one?
It's glorious. You could not have planned that any better.
I totally no, because that makes me Pedro Pascal in this situation.
You know what? You poor soul. Hide us all again and take a screenshot of that because you're going to want that for later. You can put that on merch.
Well, you know we Trissionary for life. Trissionaries shakes head. I mean, come on, that's gold, guys. I am a marketing machine.
It's gold, Jerry.
Are we dropping the Trissionary shirt? Trish, I'll cut you in on the Trish. I'll cut you in on the Trissionary shirt.
Okay.
You can be like, I'm not going to. I won't Michael Hayes you. You're making all these doot shirts, and I ain't seeing no money from that. Dusty and Andre took all the damn money. Oh my goodness! But so speaking of shirts, guys, we have got 5 T-shirt designs that we're going to be launching our new Tooney Town TV merchandise line with. So for every $200 that we make in Super Chats tonight, I will reveal 1 T-shirt. So it's if we make $1,000 tonight, you'll see them all. Speaking of which, as you guys know, this show is made for you and funded by you. We do get we get demonetized a lot. Sometimes, though, we get kicked off the air entirely, guys. Just saying. I'm gone for 1 week, and you get us kicked off the air.
Many times.
What happened there?
Oh, Lauren was gone by that time. Yeah, no, they were basically playing Howard the Duck, and got the show kicked off the air multiple times.
Were the duck boobs that bad?
Popping up like a prairie dog.
Nolan's hiding from Marvin's rage.
Nolan just popping his head up and screaming duck boobs.
Duck boobs.
Woohoo!
Duck boobs. Woo. Yeah, that was what somebody would do. Oh my goodness. All right, guys. So that being said, we need to get to your super chats because we've got a lot of them to get to already. Tyler Galasinski for $1.99, saying with Paul Bear's voice, "Praise be my orange monster returns." And then he says for $1.99, wearing my Tooney Town wrestling shirt, and this one has no holes in it. Yes, that is correct. It has no holes in it. We got a new member of the Tooney Town TV channel. Megan Meggs has become a YouTube member. So welcome, Meggs. We look forward to having you here and bringing you early releases for content and some exclusive content as well. We're talking about a lot of one-offs lately. Like I know Trish wants to do a Scream special podcast. I think that's the way to do it also, because so we've got Crime and Punishment, the true crime podcast, but we also want to do things like Grown Ass Men Meet Boy Meets World, which is probably going to be just like a one-off, and like just like whatever we feel like we need to do like a one-off on, we're going to do it. So the Tooney Town the Tooney Town TV roast of Lauren Connor, it's going to be great. No, I'm kidding. We're not doing that.
Lauren's face.
What did I do?
No, I don't know. You were the one that I was looking at that moment.
Of course you were. We understand that. Why are you picking on me?
Tyler Galasinski for $20. This week has been bad. On Andor, we get 3 episodes of Mon Mothma and her cold and sexless marriage. And on Doctor Who, I don't know what was the point of this week's episode of Doctor Who and why we should fear this villain. Yeah, I didn't watch Doctor Who, and neither did anyone else because it's a dead show.
I did.
Oh, how bad was it?
First of all, I thought that Graham and the Inconsequentials were terrible with Jodie.
Mm-hmm.
This new companion is
really
straight up hateable.
Well, I heard she's the Doctor's equal. That was what I kept hearing.
I know. I'm like, listen, Moffat gave us dozens upon dozens upon dozens of very clever, strong, and intelligent and equal to the Doctor woman who are all very much likable. Even the super villainous Missy, this companion is insufferable.
Really? What's so bad?
Oh, she's your ex-wife. She's
oh my gosh. No, nobody watched that.
It's like you see someone with someone, you're like, why are you spending so much time with this person? They are miserable, just awful, awful person. And
gotcha.
Like,
Take it from me, guys. Definitely don't spend 10 years watching that. Okay, hold on. I'm just putting everything in order of what we're doing here tonight. But thank you, Tyler Galasinski, for that $20 super chat. Regina Sharp for $5 says, I just wanted to tell you both.
Glum gold, glum gold, glum gold, glum gold.
We're all counting on you. It's an excellent airplane reference there.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, like, who are these two both? They're just talking about who's left out of that. But it was a reference I did not get.
It was a reference to the movie Airplane, which is one of the most classic movies of all time.
I saw it once, but it was a long time ago.
Yeah, it's very funny. Don't worry, I speak jive.
Favor.
Lauren's about to get mad.
I said I saw it once.
No, I mean, honestly, you really should. I mean, you said you saw it once a long time ago. Do you remember anything about it?
Not really.
You should watch it again.
Obviously, hence me not getting the reference.
do yourself a favor. You will enjoy it. I promise.
Okay.
More than, say, a modern fantasy epic with swordplay.
I'd rather watch Airplane before I watch.
We're going to talk about that before we'll talk about. We're going to get into Highlander in a second. We're going to talk about that after we're done with super chats. Andre Adams for $4.99 says, "We team Regina tonight."
Glum gold, glum gold, glum gold, glum gold.
Fantastic. Tyler Galasinski says, I hate arrogant, yellow, preppy looking Pedro Pascal in that thumbnail. No, that's on purpose. You're gonna see today because you guys like to on that Park Place compliment my ability to get unflattering pictures of people. You are going to love my Pedro Pascal selections because I basically turned it into a comic book because I'm like I have images that are going to showcase that picture of him in that with that like sweater around his neck or wearing the shorts with the tall boots. That is, if you Google Latinx, that's the picture that probably pops up.
Oh, Latinx.
Yeah, Latinx. Latinx. John Williams for $4.99 says someone made the death even more offensive in the show. Is that
for Joel?
Oh yes, for Joel. Yeah, no, that's the first thing we're going to talk about tonight after Highlander. We're going to talk about the Joel in one, and how a whole new generation of people are hating it, and the Hollywood Access Media is livid about it. Tyler Gosinski says, "Oh God, who is that human standing there instead of my orange monster? I don't acknowledge that person." All right, I said if anyone complained, I was going to change it back. So there you go.
It's you were doused with gamma rays, and now when you're mildly irritated, you turn into a
orange monster.
Orange monster,
yeah. A tired middle-aged man.
I'm not middle-aged.
The human is when he gets angry.
You did roll 40, didn't you?
What?
You did roll over to 40, didn't you?
We're not confirming or denying anything about my age. Andre Adams for $9.99 says Andre Adams for $9.99 says if Mr. Fantastic was a something boy, Pedro Pascal on it. Oh my goodness. Hold on. Moving along here. Dead X-Man 616 for $5, which brings our total tonight to $69. Nice. Nice. Hey everyone, I've been forced to resign, but have a better job in the line. Because like Glomgold, all I do is win. You know what? That's normally our thank you for Super Chats, but I'm feeling grateful to all of you tonight. So you know what? I'll just play like I think I got rid of the regular version. So here it is.
All I do is win, no matter what. Got money on my mind, like everybody.
Oh my goodness. All right.
I just thought about this. DJ Khaled never comes after you for that, but Universal actually admitted that they own the rights to Howard the Duck.
Oh yeah, Dennis Leary. I have to change Dis's intro on Tooney Town Wrestling because Dennis Leary dings me literally every week. So, yeah,
I like to think he does it personally.
Probably. Andre Adams for $4.99, and now Nolan is cosplaying McAfee. Exterminate!
No, I would only be McAfee if I'm cutting away to AJ Hawk, who's meanwhile getting high in the webcam in the background.
You were very excited on our WrestleMania stream to see McAfee.
Oh my gosh, I've actually met him in person. The dude is hilarious.
Cool?
And what's that?
Is he cool in person?
Oh yes, the dude's so funny. I was actually I was at a training camp back when they still had it in my local area, and I just wanted to grab a quick Colts picture from their shop they had nearby because there might be some players coming out to sign stuff, and I assumed it was going to be someone I'd never heard of. So I grabbed the picture just real fast, and I dart back, and Pat McAfee walks over, and everyone's like shocked because who expected him to come over? I didn't realize I picked the quarterback, and it was just a single picture of him. It was Andrew Luck at the time. And he goes to sign and he's like, well, this is just, it's not even general. This is all Andrew Luck. So if you get his autograph, you can scrape my name out after the fact, just rub it off, it'll go away. He's so nice.
He seems like a cool guy. Virginia Sharp for $5 says, oh, that's right. Marvin's back. We need to wear pants for the stream again. Be right back. Yes. Pants are required.
Someone tell Howard that.
Megan Meggs for $10 says Pedro Pascal makes Rachel Zegler seems almost tolerable. Almost. Well, he did call her an icon. So there's that.
Lest we forget.
Lest we ever forget that. All bee booty bees and bacon with big bees for $2 says the new Fantastic movie will suck.
Everything about this super chat is just killing me. The picture,
I
how
know.
blunt it is.
I know. Use that one on Tooney Talk Wrestling, so I can't say it's new to me, but I figured I'm glad he kept it. I think I said Trish would be going nuts right now, so I'm glad that he brought that over
It's
for
so
you.
great. Thank
So
you.
if
I
our goal
appreciate
is
it.
to
Missionaries rejoice.
If our goal is to see the shirt designs, how much do we have to donate in order to get a Marvin the Monster plushie toy? How long do we have to wait for that?
You have to donate the knowledge for me of how that works.
We'll work on it.
Regina Sharp for $5 says, hilariously, it happened after the movie was done. What did?
Just getting cut out.
Oh, yes. Yeah, it does that sometimes. BPE checking in with the BPE special, $20 and no message. But we love you, BPE. Thank you so much for dropping in. Man, a few words, but of $20.
You left me speechless.
Andre Adams for $9.99 says, do you remember anything about Airplane? Trish, I think there was a plane somewhere thereabouts.
I remember Leslie Nielsen and the mom from Leave It to Beaver. I remember those pirates.
Remember those parts.
Those things.
Lauren, are you present or did you step away?
No, I'm here.
Oh, okay. Because I think it's time for us to talk about your movie viewing experience.
Oh, okay.
Now I got to give Lauren Connor credit because now listen, some of you guys are impatient and couldn't wait a week for me to get back from vacation. So you're trying to get the man to talk about this on Pro's stream, even though it's a Tooney Talk TV thing. I see you guys. I hear what's going on. I have my stooges, Kevin Apollo, who stooges to me about this stuff. So, but Lauren Connor, a man of honor, a man of principle, was like, nope, we started it on Tooney Talk TV. We're going to finish it on Tooney Talk TV. Lauren, your thoughts on Highlander?
What the hell is this movie? I watched this thing. I actually sort of thought, there's a part of me, there are schlocky movies I like, and I thought this will probably be one of those. It's like I knew from the description I wasn't going to get it, but I figured I'll watch this thing and I'll probably have a good time. And I did not have a good time, not at any point during this movie. There was no point in this movie in which I watched it and thought, gosh, I sure wish I could watch more of this. Instead, it just kept going and going and going and going. And I kind of thought there was going to be a point at which somehow there's going to be an expository scene where at some point they make sense of this nonsense. And that never, ever, ever, ever happened. It was exactly the same way that you guys described it. Things just happen because. And at the end of it, I was left baffled and confused and a little wet, and I didn't like it.
What?
And what I'm told is that the second one is the bad one.
It's so much. Lauren, you don't know how bad it can get.
No, Chef Eddie, I do not need to see Highlander 2 to make it all make sense. I know this game that you're playing. There is no sense in this thing. If you didn't put it in the first freaking volume, there's no way I'm watching 7 movies, 5 seasons of a TV show, a cartoon show, and reading any comic books that are involved in this thing. I am not watching any more Highlander.
Hey, Lauren.
Oh, no.
Hey, Lauren, did you like Highlander?
It's okay.
I've been holding this in for 2 weeks. 2 weeks I have been sitting here with people asking me, and I've been going, I want to tell you how much I hate this thing. And I haven't been able to because I made a solemn promise that I would only talk about it with Mark.
So you haven't been going around going, I'm Connor MacLeod of the Clan MacLeod.
No.
Born on the shores of Loch Shiel in Glenfinnan, Scotland in 1400.
And let's talk about that for a little bit, shall we? Why in the world did they hire a Frenchman to play a Scotsman? Why?
A Frenchman who didn't speak English.
It was so bad. Occasionally, he would accidentally stumble into something that sort of resembled a brogue for a little bit. And why did he become the god of the cars for a little bit? What was the deal with that?
The god of the cars?
The very beginning of the movie, when he has that big thing in the garage and all of the cars are bouncing up and down. And
it was the quickening.
What is the quickening, Marvin?
When you take the head of another immortal, you take their power in the quickening.
Yes,
which is the thing where the lightning is hitting you and like it makes wind go and
yes, lightning and wind. Okay, why?
Just cause.
Because power.
Because it's the beginning.
How about at the end when he wins the prize and it's like, what's the prize? And he's like, I don't know, stuff.
Yeah, I now get to live a life with this woman, except that's probably not going to happen. It's just
It
bad.
doesn't. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert, Lord, it doesn't.
I know. I knew this was going to be the case. I don't know. My hyperbole aside, I literally do not understand why anybody likes this movie. I watched it, and it's like, I saw no redeeming qualities. There's nothing here to like.
This movie was like a bombs bomb, and then it became mega popular in on VHS.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of it might be because it came up right when people got VCRs and video stores exploded.
Is this like the equivalent? Is this like the equivalent of a meme stock like 30 years early?
Is this movie the reason that everyone's
Morbius.
VCR keeps blinking 12 o'clock? It's like stuck on that because of Highlander.
I honestly cannot believe that there are people that watched. You said 7 movies, is that right?
6 movies.
No, is there 6 movies?
Okay.
There's the 3, then there's Endgame, then there's the Source. That's 5, right?
Okay, and then there's the anime.
The animated film.
Yes.
What kind of an optimist do you have to be?
Look, I think everybody watched the movies because they were like, guys, if we stick this through, we might get a decent TV show out of it.
It's got to be this one. This is the one. I could feel it.
Like Charlie Brown in football.
The people who watch this movie are the people who religiously buy lottery tickets. This is the answer. I am convinced.
No, to be fair, Lauren, to be fair, the what am I trying to say here? The people that say they love Highlander typically love Highlander the show. No one really talks about the movie. No one really talks about Connor. Duncan is kind of the hero of Highlander at this point because the show goes on for what, 6 seasons? Was it, Martin?
Yeah, I think it's 6.
Yeah. 6 interminable seasons.
No, I'm telling you, the show is not nearly as bad.
To be fair, the 6th season, because it was supposed to end at 5, and then they wanted a spin-off, so they forced a 6th season, and you're like, what is happening?
They did the spin-off.
Adrian Paul looked like he was being held hostage.
Yeah. Connor is in the first episode he's in the pilot, and that he kind of passes the torch in that one. And then there's 6 seasons of the TV show, and then it's supposedly wrapped up in Endgame, but then they kept going with the Source, and it's the worst movie of them all.
We don't acknowledge the Source.
I would rather watch Highlander 2 than watch the Source. I never made it through the Source.
No, there's nothing to make it through. It's like take everything awful about Anchor Bay movies and just wish you had something else to do. Just watch the I think it was the 15-year anniversary short with Joe and Meepos and move on with your life.
Lauren's not watching a single
thing.
Did
you say Meepos instead of Meepos?
Sorry, Meepos.
That's the country that Cousin Alfie is from.
At this point, that would make more sense. There is a comment here that says he fixes the ozone layer in Highlander 2. Is that true?
No, the ozone layer fixes itself in Highlander 2.
Yeah.
But he creates the shield around the Earth that allows people to not be killed by UV rays.
Everybody just kind of stopped talking about the ozone.
It makes total sense.
Years ago.
Yeah, just Highlander 2 was a fever dream that they haven't quite figured out how to get rid of.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
you
we don't have enough plot. We wrapped everything up in the first movie by accident. How do we make another movie?
Oh, aliens is some crap.
We're gonna go to the future and we're gonna do aliens.
Also,
I'm still stuck on there can be only one cousin Larry.
Andre Adams, we're going to have a talk at some point.
Well, what did he say?
Said that me talking about like Star Wars made sense. It didn't. We just like it.
Yeah. Oh, don't compare the two. No, it's
I'm a cloud.
Wait, so you didn't like the Happy Halloween, ladies?
No, I think this was the worst role I've ever seen him in. There was nothing redeeming in this for me. I did not like this movie.
What about Juan Sanchez Ramirez, the Spaniard?
Villalobos Ramirez.
I like Sean Connery, but Sean Connery was not immune to making stupid decisions.
I feel like when Sean Connery signed for this movie, he didn't read the script, and they were like, "It's a movie called Highlander," and he's like, "Well, I guess I'm great for that one, laddie." Then he signed it, and they're like, "Oh no, you're a Spaniard. What? Who's the Highlander? That French guy over there? What the hell is this? Are they paying me a lot of money? A lot of money, Sean. Oh,
I'm from Egypt and I'm a Japanese sword.
I think
a Spanish name, yeah.
I think Connery got paid like $1 million for a week of work or something like that.
Well, that's the thing. He's not in it that much. He's only in those flashbacks.
Love it.
I think this is Lauren's villain origin story. Like next week, he's going to be really into nihilism and Frederick Jacobi.
I actually do think there are worse movies. This is not the worst movie I've ever seen, but it's approaching it.
Why does the sun come up? Are the stars just pinholes in the curtain of night? Who knows, Highlander?
I mean, we know. We're aliens from...
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you.
I feel like we have to, do something to get Lauren to watch some of the TV show.
No, we don't need to do that. We're good.
It's something... We'll figure something out.
Lauren.
We'll figure something out. We'll release a T-shirt and give Lauren I'll give Lauren all of the proceeds to it, and it'll just say, "I bought this T-shirt so Lauren Connor will watch Highlander the series."
Sin asked a question, what's the worst movie that I ever saw? I actually have two that I think that I'll put up there. Okay. The first one is The Fifth Element. The second...
Really?
The second is The Sword and the Sorcerer.
I've seen them both.
The Sorcerer.
I feel
Sword
like
of the Sorcerer is pretty bad.
You're not alone. The Fifth Element is the first movie that I ever actually wanted to walk out of the theater in.
Did you ever see Valerian?
No, I avoided that train wreck because I knew that it was another Luke Besson movie.
It's worse than The Fifth Element.
I know. I want to hear the justification from Lauren and Kevin right now about The Fifth Element being the worst movie they've ever seen. Which one of you wants to go first?
Movies, so I have a really high tolerance. But I just never liked The Fifth Element. I could not understand what people were talking about. I thought it was one of the stupidest movies I've ever seen. Even Gary Oldman could not get me over the finish line.
Oh, that was Gary Oldman. I never even realized that was Gary Oldman.
I remember we were watching. I'm like, because my dad was into renting movies and then recording the VHS, so that he had a massive library. And I was like, listen, can you call me when this is done so I can watch The Professional again? Thanks. And then left. Went to go play
how was your dad dealing with Chris Tucker in that movie?
He handled himself. He handled himself accordingly. Lots of eye rolling and mumbling.
Lauren, what did you hate about The Fifth Element?
Let me ask you a question. Who's the villain of that movie?
I mean, you assume Gary Oldman.
But it's not. Who's the villain of the movie?
Chris Tucker?
No.
Runtime?
Do you not remember this movie?
Well, no, there's that nebulously evil force that's hired
which
Zurg.
Is what? It's a giant black spot in the sky.
Yeah.
That calls him on the phone and drips ink on his forehead. I'm sure this is supposed to be really deep stuff, but it's mostly, I don't know.
That is true. I forgot about that.
Oh, it's awful. It is awful. There is no spine to this movie. There is no sense to this movie. Now, I will say, it does have, I think, 2 gags in it that I thought were funny. One of them is right at the very beginning of the movie when he's in his apartment. I think maybe outside, I don't remember. He's got a cigarette and it's 90% filter. That's funny. That's a funny gag. And I'm sure there was another one, but I can't remember it. But
I'm a meat popsicle.
yeah, all right, whatever. But it's just now the president of the United States. He's funny. He's funny.
Oh, Tiny Lister? Yeah.
Yeah, but the rest of this movie, no.
You didn't enjoy watching that blue lady sing and then pulling those stones out of her stomach?
I think that was when I was about ready to walk out of the theater, because what I saw was knockoff Twi'lek with a disgusting subplot that makes no sense. And then you have to deal with Chris Tucker on top of it. No, this is not.
Ain't got
a
no
movie.
fire.
This is no movie for me.
Oh man.
And for those who have seen The Sword and the Sorcerer, you will understand why that's a bad movie.
I feel like we're probably going to have some super chats about this, so I feel like we have to go to super chats now.
No, the Sword and the Sorcerer is the one with the 3-bladed sword, right?
The Tri-Sword, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That shoots the blades, yes.
Yeah. Bulk from Night Court plays a wizard.
It was his first movie role, if I remember right. Yes, yeah. And it's Lee Horsley playing the lead, which is he's not somebody you would normally expect to be playing a barbarian. You know, he's a cowboy, but
the action news reporter from Murphy Brown is in it too.
Yes. Yep. Mm-hmm. It's a very, very, very strange movie. It also has exactly one good gag in it, though, and it involves a thump and a table. I won't say anything more than that.
Okay.
This movie was so bad that I watched it 3 times because I couldn't remember that I watched the movie. And I'm like, oh my god, I watched this movie. Why am I doing this again?
Well, and they were so enthusiastic about it that the credits promised that Talon will return.
Oh, jeez.
And they named the second movie they were intending to make.
All right. John Williams of 499 says, nothing to like. Nolan, you are now no longer the worst member of this podcast.
John? Really?
I said you're not anymore.
That means he was, though.
Wow.
Aww.
John, you suck, man.
Poor Nolan.
John does not suck. John super chats a lot. John's awesome. If John says you're the worst member of this podcast, then you're the worst member of this podcast.
John is awesome, but
I
he
love
has
you,
terrible taste.
Going Shogi for 199 says it's movies for people who buy swords at the mall. So confession, I
believe
I bought a sword at the mall after watching Highlander the first time, and kept it at my friend's house because my mother would have killed me.
Was it a katana?
It was a katana.
I think Lauren just left.
I think.
No, my kid popped in. I had to deal with him quickly.
Well, the timing of that was really funny.
No, sorry. He just popped in and I had to answer a question for him.
No, I did. I bought a terrible cheap sword at a little martial arts store in an outdoor mall because I saw Highlander and I wanted to learn the art of sword play.
Really?
Yeah.
This was your plan.
He has inside him blood of kings.
I was like 15.
Kings who go to the mall to buy their swords.
You know what? Whenever I say that teenagers are too young to make life-altering decisions, this is the moment that I'm thinking about.
You said life-altering. Are you secretly a eunuch?
No, but if I had actually ever used the sword, I might have, made mistakes with it.
Well, you remember when we said last couple weeks ago that you had to die a tragic death to find out you're an immortal?
Right.
Oh my god, don't start.
You have to die to find out. It breaks Trish's brain every time someone says it.
I can't. My brain's too tired for it.
Tyler Galasinski for 499 says, I like to make my request for the Marvin the Movie Monster as King Kong for the t-shirt. I also would like to request Tooney Town Wrestling sweatpants. Okay, we'll look into it. There is actually
I want Tooney Town Wrestling underpants.
There is a Tooney Town Wrestling design of a King Kong type thing that Travis Heckle made. So we are looking for an opportunity to use it in something. It's just a lot of the t-shirts need to be in black and white just because otherwise the shirt is just entirely too expensive to be, to put out there for people. So
wait, Marvin as King Kong and Trish as Fay Ray.
No, it's on the wrestling one, it's Tooney Khan as basically. John Williams for $4.99 and Triple H in the biplane. John Williams for $4.99 says Sean agreed because he got to work short schedule because he wants to avoid paying taxes. The narration was done in his own bathroom. What?
So that narration where it's so echoey. They did that in his bathroom in Spain in his villa, and the producers only ever heard it over the phone, so they didn't realize how poor quality it was when they okayed it to be put into the movie.
Wait, what? The one at the end?
No, at the beginning when he's yeah, it's so echoey because it was recorded in his Spanish bathroom.
Oh, that's so funny. Chef Eddie for $5 says Lauren thinks Casablanca is better than Barbed Wire, so his taste in movies is questionable.
Why would anyone pick any movie over Barbed Wire? This doesn't make any sense to me.
Philistines.
Virginia Sharp for $5 says I thought The Fifth Element was all right, but I'm inoculated to the French heavy metal art style.
Inoculation is what's required.
What is going on now? All B Booty Bees and Bacon with Big Bees for $2. I'm drafted to be in the Tooney Town fans. What is that? Is
that's a football player being drafted holding up
that better not be Anthony Richardson. Oh god, that better be a Cowboys. No, don't make me think about Anthony Richardson. All B, you're like my favorite super chatter. No.
John Williams for $5 says then stop being responsible for everything that goes wrong, Nolan.
I will not stop until that quote is on a shirt.
Oh, I see. Oh, it was no one's fault. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Well then, problem solved.
Oh my goodness. You and Kiwi for $1.99 says 3 words: Blair Witch Project.
What about the Blair Witch Project? Saying that's worse?
Pretty heinous movie.
That was a great
it's pretty
ad
bad.
campaign.
It really was.
It was a good ad campaign. Terrible movie. By the way, we're at $167 right now, so we are about $33 away from the first T-shirt reveal. So I got to decide which one to reveal first. I'm not sure.
Start with the crappy one.
None of them are crappy. They're all high quality and awesome.
No, you got to build suspense, man. You want donations. Start with the crappy one and work your way up.
Fine.
I don't know why, but that reminded me of that line from Hook. Wait for the good pitches.
All right, time to get into our first news article of the night. Though sometimes I wonder why we even bother with news articles, because I think just the 6 of us just talking for 2 hours would about nothing would probably be just as interesting. Let's see. We're looking for The Last of Us here. Okay, so we have got a familiar situation going on with The Last of Us. So is anyone here watching The Last of Us or has played The Last of Us?
No, because I have taste.
Yeah, so I've played the games. I watched the first season of the show. The second game is a train wreck. So The Last of Us HBO fans erupt over season 2 Joel storyline that gamers have been dealing with since 2020. So basically what this is, guys, is now I'm going to spoiler alert for Last of Us season 2 and Last of Us part 2. The character of Joel, your main character, who is played unfortunately by Pedro Pascal in this, he is your character that you come full circle with him. You take him from the death of his daughter at the beginning of the first game all the way through to finding, a new daughter figure in Ellie by the end of the second game. It is a big, huge emotional arc that you get very heavily invested into the course. I think what is a very, very excellent video game, the first one. He is immediately killed in the second season. In the second game, immediately. In the second episode, he is beaten to death with a golf club in a scenario that Nate on Mr. H today called the Joel in one. But yes, he is beaten to death with a golf club by a girl named Abby, who in the game was this big jacked China looking lady, who is what I am playing in the thumbnail today. In the TV show, they made her like a toothpick twig of a girl who I still maintain could kick Pedro Pascal's ass. But that's not exactly difficult to do. fans of the video game went ballistic about this for a few reasons. One, it's deeply disrespectful to the story that we've heard. Two, they lied in the promotion of the game. They put Joel into the trailer in scenes from throughout the game that he is never there for in the trailer and put that out as deceptive marketing. It was a bait and switch. You were led to believe this was a Joel and Ellie game, and Joel is immediately killed. You play as Ellie for the majority for half the game, and then you play as Abby, the girl who killed him, for the rest of the game. It was highly insulting. Now, what's happening is fans are now fans who just watched the show that never played the games are discovering what we all found out in 2020, that this is hack storytelling, and they're all getting mad. And the reviews on Rotten Tomatoes tanked down to, I believe, about 52% after this episode aired, because people do not like when you take your main character away from you. Ned Stark was never intended to be the main character of Game of Thrones, so there was a lot of outrage then, but Joel was the main character of The Last of Us Part 1. The Game of Thrones was more of an ensemble show than that. So people are hating on it. Well, that doesn't sit well with our friends at the Axis Media, who are losing their minds over this. So Access Media spins The Last of Us Season 2 backlash as review bombing yet again in familiar deflection tactic. And despite mainstream media rushing to frame the reaction to The Last of Us 2 as manufactured, review bombing outrage, the backlash surrounding Joel's early departure is much deeper and far more authentic than critics would have audiences believe. Now, from a widely circulated article from Collider, the site claims that The Last of Us show has fallen prey to review bombing, dismissing the outcry from viewers as little more than coordinated trolling. So you know what? Let's actually look at this Collider article, because it's heinous. It's absolutely heinous. So this is The Last of Us Season 2's Rotten Tomatoes audience score gets infected by review bombers, by Raul Malhotra. It would appear that the trolls are out of their caves, despite the best efforts of Rotten Tomatoes to prevent this sort of thing. The second season of HBO's The Last of Us seems to have become a victim of review bombing. This is when a group of disgruntled viewers make a collective effort to manipulate a film or show's rating on aggregated platforms. One look at The Last of Us's Rotten Tomatoes page might make the casual observer curious to know how a show that has been so widely acclaimed can have such a dismal audience rating. The answer is often very simple. The Last of Us Season 2 premiered last week to an excellent viewership figures and positive reviews, holds a certified fresh 96 rating on Rotten Tomatoes, but the second season's audience score is in free fall. I wonder why that is. The show is an adaptation of Noticeable series, and fans have been dissatisfied by the casting of Bella Ramsey in the role of Ellie. Well, yeah, because she looks like a thumb that someone painted a face on. Why is it that review bombers always seem to target women? It is insulting for these Access Media hacks to do something like this, where they throw all valid criticism out the window and chalk it all up to review bombing. Guys, the first time we saw this was Captain Marvel and The Last Jedi. And they actually reference those things in that article. Martin Stone, what's your opinion when you see the Access Media start when they rush to shield a property by saying that all of the criticism that is being leveled is all bad faith review bombing?
Well, part of me says that turnabout's fair play with that, because we know that so many professional reviewers or semi-professional reviewers are giving outstanding reviews to continue their access, or because they're super fans of some message that's being sent or something like that. So if a more broad-based group of people is going to play that game and tank the ratings on the other side, again, turnabout's fair play. But I don't think it's always review bombing. Sometimes it's just bad.
Yeah.
Like, so if we're going to reach way back in TV history, well, and maybe not even way back, like St. Elsewhere. St. Elsewhere was a show that people loved. And in its final episode, there's a twist that people still talk about to this day. And if the internet and site aggregation was around then, its ratings would have tanked. And people would have called that review bombing.
Absolutely. And when you have an event that is so controversial, like the killing off of your main character, and the review scores immediately drop after that, how can you, with no proof, immediately jump to, well, that's just review bombing? Lauren Connor, what are your thoughts on that?
My take on it is, if the scores are so easily manipulated, why would Rotten Tomatoes be considered a source to go to in the first place?
Right.
Oh, good point.
Right.
I mean, this is ridiculous. This is not hard. You know, if it's critically acclaimed, guess what? Most people don't trust the critics. The critics have a low opinion of the audience. They like to rate things high that they know the audience won't like. It makes them feel intelligent and above the masses. That's why you don't trust the critics. The only critics I ever really trusted, well, actually, I guess I should say critic, was Roger Ebert. The thing I loved about Roger Ebert is he liked highbrow movies. He liked lowbrow movies. He didn't ever mince words when he was giving praise to a lowbrow movie. He'd say, I know this is garbage, but I like it. And the thing is, even when I didn't agree with Roger, he had such an amazing way of writing about movies that I was entertained just by reading his opinion, even if I disagreed with it. That's what you want out of a critic. Roger was, in my opinion, better than any of the others.
I'm glad you brought up critics, because there's one other piece to this story that I think is worth talking about, because critics are also terrified to say bad things about this. And we learned that with our old friend Grace Randolph, who walked away from The Last of Us while Collider screams review bombing in a masterclass of Access Media cowardice. Now, I said something strange is happening with The Last of Us Season 2, not just in the narrative, but in the way the media is covering it, or more accurately, refusing to. This week, Beyond the Trailer host Grace Randolph tweeted that she is stepping away from The Last of Us show entirely. I'm not going to cover The Last of Us Season 2, and probably won't stop watching the show. I really disliked last night's episode, despite liking cutscenes of the second game quite a bit. Abby was never cruel, but I see a lot of people enjoy Dever's performance, so I don't want to be critical of it. Then why are you a critic? I don't want to be critical. Why are you a critic?
That's the worst take possible, because first of all, she kind of outs herself by saying that she really liked cutscenes of the game, so you're not the target audience anyway. Secondly, yeah, if you're going to be that kind of a coward, sometimes you got to come out with an unpopular opinion. You know, it's like, you may be ideologically aligned with these people, but if they made crap, call it out. Because if that's your opinion, that's your opinion. That's why people are coming to you. Your brand is your opinion. If you're not going to give it because you think that some people are going to turn on you because you're not supporting the cause, you're not a critic, you're an activist.
Yes, 100%.
In the game, Abby does end Joel, right?
Yes.
And Grace says Abby was never cruel?
I guess so I haven't watched the scene. I started to watch season 2 today. My wife and I started watching it together, and it's so bad. Like, it's so offensively bad that we like stopped midway through. She was like, midway through, she looked at me and she goes, "Do you have to watch this for work?" And I said, "No, not particularly. I can get by without seeing it because I know what happens." And she goes, "Okay, good. Can we stop?" Because it was bad. The first thing you see in this, after a little scene with Abby that wasn't from the game, is Bella Ramsey as Ellie defeating a enormous jacked man in combat by tapping him out. They try to save it afterward by saying that he pulled his first punch when he punches her in the face. Because he's like, well, he would have knocked you out if he didn't pull that punch, because they're training. And she's like, don't pull punches with me. It's quintessential girl boss crap. The game was not like that at all. Even the game, even the second game, as preachy as it got, it didn't get to that extent. Typically, when Ellie defeats, a grown man, it's because she has a knife or she has a gun of some sort. So I'm not going to cover The Last of Us season 2. We'll probably stop watching the show, she said on X. With that, she folded like a lawn chair. Let's be honest, this was not a brave editorial decision. It was an admission because Grace doesn't want to report on the show honestly because she knows that telling the truth will put her in the crosshairs of Hollywood's elite and the social media echo chamber. So instead of doing her job, she's walking away while still trying to keep the peace with the PR machine. But here's the problem. The critics aren't supposed to be spokespeople. They're supposed to be honest brokers between the content and the consumers. And Grace just publicly told her audience that she won't be honest if it might ruffle feathers. It's not criticism. It's cowardice wrapped in branding. And the same thing happened with Collider. We saw that with the review bombing stuff. And so I said here in this opinion piece, let's be clear. What audiences are reacting to in The Last of Us season 2 is not new. Joel's controversial end was already a flashpoint in the video game world when Part 2 released in 2020. Fans expressed deep frustration over the story direction. Now, new viewers, people who never played the games, are watching that same plot twist play out and responding in the exact same way. And still, the Access media refuses to reckon with it. They either smear the audience like Collider or back away from covering it altogether like Grace. In both cases, the message is the same. We're not here to represent the viewers. We're here to protect the product. And the product in this case is HBO's adaptation here. The showrunners make a deliberate choice to follow the game's most polarizing narrative twist by removing Joel early in the story. The decision was controversial in 2020 and remains divisive today. Final thought is Grace Randolph won't cover the show because she doesn't want to criticize an actress. Collider labels fans as trolls for reacting to a story they were never prepared for. Together, these outlets show exactly why trust in entertainment journalism is in freefall. When viewers see a show stumble, they want the truth, not PR spin, and they're not getting it from the Access crowd. The Last of Us isn't being review bombed. It's being reviewed, honestly, by the people. Something the media might want to try again someday. Nolan Thunder, did you play? You did not play The Last of Us, right?
No, I know there was a lot of hype going around the game, but I just never took time to get to it. And with everything I heard about the second game, it just seems like it fell off a cliff.
Yeah. Neil Druckmann, the director of the game, who was also the showrunner for this show, is the worst virtue signaling developer, and I'm going to tell you guys right now why the media is being so defensive over this show. Ellie, the main character, is gay. And as it goes forward, spoiler alert here, guys, Abby will find and befriend and become a parental figure to a little boy who turns out to be a biological girl. That's the big twist, is that this kid ran away from this cult that they were in because they were actually a girl and wanted to be a boy, and they were going to make her marry one of the elders or something like that. So it deals with gender issues. It deals with LGBT themes. That's why they're defending it like this. So,
can we say then that?
Oh, go ahead, Martin.
At this point, if the Access media is not reviewing something, that means it's so bad they can't come up with positive things to say.
Yeah. Yeah. The Trish, how would you feel if you got into let's say the first season of like Supernatural, and then the second season immediately Dean Winchester is killed off?
Done.
Right?
And it's not just because Dean is my favorite. Dean's entirely too important.
Okay,
right.
But what if Sam made a deal with the devil and brought him back?
Well, I knew the context in which he was talking about it, but
no, like dead, like
that'd
dead,
be
dead,
different.
like
but yeah,
yeah. So Dean Winchester is gone, and then the new main character becomes the girl that killed him.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Right, Trish, how do you feel about the what the Access media does with this, with like the review bomb? Like when you see review bombing, do you give it any thought, or is it just an immediate eye roll?
It's just an eye roll. Like, and this is sort of related. I saw some things coming out about the Thunderbolts, and it was all this like really glowing stuff. Like, I want the movie to be good, but every single glowing one that came out, I became more and more skeptical that this thing is going to be enjoyable. Like, it's gotten to the point where they say negative review bombing, but it's I'm sorry, I forget who it was that said it. I think it was Martin, maybe, about like the turnabout is fair play. It's like, I don't trust any of you anytime that you say anything glowing. So if we're bad, then you're just as bad. Even though I don't believe that that's happening a large majority of the time in terms of the negative ones. Let's just argue that it is. What's the difference between that and what they're doing? Nothing. So it's all just a boring, empty void of words at that point.
Yep. I agree. Kevin Apollo, this show opened up with a 80-pound girl choking out a man who is your size after taking a punch to the face from him. They try to cover it up by saying that he pulled the punch on purpose because they're training, and she gets incensed by that because she wants to take the full punch, which literally would have killed her. But she still chokes him out and taps him with a triangle choke.
Sure.
Did you ever play the original game?
Yes. Yeah. I loved the first game.
So good.
And then I played up until Joel's exit and never touched the second game ever again.
Here, you know what the real sad thing about the second game is? It's actually a very good game mechanically. The graphics are wonderful. The NPC AI is stellar. Like, all of the NPCs have personalities and names. So like if you stealth kill somebody in the game and then you sneak away, one of their friends comes and finds them and they're like, "Oh no, Jerry!" like they have or
tell me it's Kramer. If it's Kramer, I'm playing the game.
It's not great. It was George, actually.
It's Bob Sacamano.
Yeah, it's well, then there's sad things too, because there's so they have dogs that can help them hunt you. If you stealth kill the dog's owner, and the dog comes back and sees it, the dog gets sad.
Oh.
And sits by their. And it's really, really good. Or if you kill if you kill the dog, then you get the person reacts Lucy.
You killed Lucy.
Tell me it's Ricardo. Tell me it's Ricky.
No, we were doing a Triple H voice there.
Lucy first fell asleep. I forgot.
You killed my dog.
Oh God, I remember that.
But yeah, it is. Honestly, I think a lot of people are going to be done with the show after the second episode. I think the ratings are going to tank because it's. I don't care if it's Pedro Pascal. You know what? And I will give the devil his due. He did a respectable job as Joel in the first season to the point where it was endearing.
So I remember when they first announced this, and I think the original casting was supposed to be what's his name from Game of Thrones, the actor who played Jaime, and then
that would have been good casting, actually.
And then it wound up being Pedro Pascal because he caught fire. Pedro Pascal was the draw to the series, so what's a little moon-faced girl's name? I can't think of her name.
Bella Ramsey.
Yeah, I don't think Bella Ramsey. Well, first of all, the way I don't think they really did Ellie too much justice because she's not very likable in the show. She plays well off of Joel, but as a character, she was not likable, not nearly as enjoyable as she is in the game. So you cut the heart out of the show, and then you got rid of the draw that pulled everybody in. People don't like it when main characters bite the dust. They just don't. We got to sit through the entire beginning of the pandemic with everybody going, "We don't like this game," with tremendous consequences. And they can't hide from this one. Neil Druckmann doesn't have the ability to use Sony's power to demonetize everybody reviewing the game. So it's going to be unfiltered. It's going to be unfiltered hate towards what happened here, and it was immediate. Because I'm sure you guys said it while I was gone, but the Rotten Tomato score tanked, and that's not.
Yeah,
people don't. Here's the thing about review bombing: people who don't like a show, or rather, I should say, people who don't care about a show. The people that you're accusing of watching the show and review bombing it aren't watching it. So not watching it, they don't care enough to go to their way to review bomb it. It's people who are watching something who get so incensed that they want to complain about it. So it's not sure. Is there probably one psychopath who has 7 jillion bots, ready to go? And does they probably have a Russian accent? Sure, whatever. We got to fit the narrative. But like, that's one person. Everybody else is pretty irritated. Yeah, but I'm not buying the media, hyping it up, doing their best Flavor Flav impression and hype manning this thing over the finish line. No one trusts you. No one believes you.
Agreed. I agree 100%. In the first season, they race swapped everybody. Every good guy that was a white male got changed. Joel got changed to be Hispanic, to be Pedro Pascal. So his brother Tommy also got changed to be like a guy that it looks like the most Mexican man alive. Tommy's wife got race swapped to black. Joel's daughter got race swapped to black. I remember when we started watching it, the only person that I was like, that guy's definitely still going to be white from the game is David, the guy who kidnaps Ellie, who's a cannibal and possibly is interested in her for other reasons other than eating her. So I was like, that guy's definitely going to be white, and that guy was white as a sheet. So they took Bill's story, which originally coincided with Joel and Ellie, and they glommed on to the fact that Bill was gay and made that Bill's entire character, and did an entire side story where Bill never encounters Joel and Ellie. It was Nick Offerman, and it was bad. It was
they weren't gonna do his actual ending in the story, because that would have accidentally made him, a bad guy.
Well, his actual ending in the story is he finds out that his boyfriend like hung himself and left him a note that says, "I hate your guts."
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He would have. He was not a good man.
No.
Guys, I'm sorry. I got to duck out. I'm acting as a taxi for my kid tonight, so I'll try and come back. But if I don't make it in time, hope you guys all have a great night, and I'll see you all again soon.
We'll see you,
Lauren.
So hopefully you come back. I'll save some of the Star Wars stuff for later.
All right. See you soon.
Cool. See you, buddy. Because I definitely want Lauren to weigh in on the Andor stuff, because
that was great.
Well, just wait. I sounded like Tony Atlas there. All right. All right. So we got some more super chats to get to. You and Kimia for $2. We read that one already. John Williams for $1.99 says The Last of Us 1 was overrated since day one. I mean, I liked it, but I understand people that didn't like it, I guess. Regia Sharp for $5 says, this is why I like The Fifth Element and Highlander, Lauren. Lowered expectations. It's tough to screw up the screwed up more. Zardoz.
Zardoz.
Fantastic.
Classic of bad cinema.
Yes.
Have you ever heard the urban legend about Zardoz? That Connery took the role to tank his value in Hollywood?
I did not.
He was paid so much money for Diamonds Are Forever. I think it was something like $12 million, and that was in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
That nobody would even approach him with a script because they thought, we can't pay that much money. Let's not even ask him.
Right.
So he told his agent, go find me the worst movie you possibly can. And I'll do that one.
Value?
Yeah.
I've heard this.
That's funny. My goodness. Old Renaissance Boomer for $5 says, well, at least I know never to ask Nolan for a movie recommendation. I would watch any of the 1,400 plus movies I've got on DVD before Barbed Wire.
Oh, no, I'm not saying it's a good movie. Compared to Casablanca, this one actually had boobs. But then again, Howard the Duck did as well, so...
Oh, my goodness. John Williams for $4.99 says, Gene Siskel literally wrote the address of the producer and main actress addresses to send hate mail to them directly.
Ew, that's...
Did he really do that?
Yeah, he did. He doxed people back before we had a word for it.
Right. Well, back then, people weren't going to actually show up and kill them, probably.
I don't know. I mean, there was the whole Jodie Foster, Ronald Reagan thing.
Oh, yeah, it's true. Ricky Murray for $5 says, Marv, it's time to scar you. How did you forget that sex scene with Abby that scarred most of us in the second game? Oh, I forgot about that.
Oh, what?
Oh no, my brain just dredged it back up. Yeah, she gets taken. Well, it's consensually taken.
Yes.
But you know,
Neil Druckmann self-inserts himself.
Yes.
You want to say it that
Really
way?
and figuratively.
Yeah, no, it's accurate.
No, it's not with Ellie, right?
No, it's with Abby.
No.
It's
Okay.
Abby and it's Abby and the one guy that she's friends
Okay,
with.
good. I was like, she ain't doing that with her dad's killer. Oh.
No. Ellie is very much like on the rampage to kill Abby, which is honestly a compelling narrative in the second game. That Bella Ramsey will be unable to duplicate. I legitimately think that Bella Ramsey was hired because I think that was a Warner Brothers HBO call, because she was popular in Game of Thrones when she was Lyanna Mormont, and I think they were like, yeah, the Lyanna Mormont girl, and nobody thought like, hey, but she's gotten older and she's like really ugly now. Like I think it was, and also she uses the plural pronoun. So, you know, they were like, yes, Neil Druckmann was like, hallelujah.
Till all are they for them.
Regina Sharp for 5 says, the game is no good unless you can feed the dog to the AI owner while pretending to make peace. That would be amazing, but no, you cannot. All bee booty bees and bacon with big bees for $2. What is that? Who's he giving the F5 to there?
Is that Taker? Oh, you mean the new head? Yeah, I don't know. Who is that?
I don't know.
Neil Druckmann?
I think it's Neil Druckmann. You're right. It is Neil Druckmann. He says, I never liked The Last of Us. I can tell.
Keep it going.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. And Liquid Fox for $2 Canadian says, The Last of Us is why I fear a Metal Gear Solid movie and show. As you should, my friend, because they would ruin that.
Like, imagine what they would do to make those OG games politically correct. Like, they would probably take that scene from the second game, you know, like the one that shook everybody about AI and all that, and they would probably make it a metaphor about our president instead of, you know, the looming fear of like AI and narratives about certain kinds of media.
This
it would
is why
be so tacky.
This is why I fear what Amazon is planning to do with God of War.
Maybe we already got a Metal Gear movie. We just didn't know it. Maybe Solid Snake was developing a particular set of skills that he used later.
Oh man, that would be amazing if that is like a backdoor. That's John Williams for $4.99 says his salary for Diamonds for Forever was only that high because he was convinced the producer wouldn't pay it. He donated it to charity. Oh, good guy, that's Sean Connery. But by the way, that brings us to $205, which means we have a t-shirt reveal.
Woo!
It's t-shirt reveal time. All right, let's see. We're gonna start with we're gonna start with we're gonna start with a good one. They're all good, but we're gonna start with a good one. Just so that you guys can get excited to see more. All right, are we ready? Martin, Nolan,
I'm ready.
I'm excited. Here. All right,
I'm good.
Haven't seen this already.
Clothes time, baby.
I only watch for Trish goth shirt.
Oh my god, I'm covering my face right now.
Yeah, with a coffee mug. We see.
Yeah.
Martin.
So all you Trissionaries out there, you're gonna soon have a t-shirt in which you can show your love for the one and only Trish.
Oh my god, I don't even have words for this right now.
$200 more and we reveal the next shirt. There are 5 of them that we have made and ready to go.
Kevin, you knew about this?
He knew about it like right before we went on the air.
Okay, confirm or deny that, Senator.
That's so cool.
Oh
He was also told and sworn to secrecy about that I was going to unveil the term Trissionaries. Because
all these secrets.
We needed. We
keep a lot up. And...
Secrets are mean. Secrets hurt. Secrets make you feel like dirt, Marv. Okay. All these secrets you're keeping from me.
Liquid Fox says the Sims will pay greatly for that shirt. Talagosis just gets in line to buy that shirt.
Oh my god!
Give me thank you. Regina Sharp says perfect. Erica M says, "Damn, pimping her out."
Yeah, exactly, Erica.
I plan on cutting her in. Don't worry.
Yeah, no, your
I would
do
pay
shirt or
money.
whatever.
I would pay good money to see Marvin in a pimp outfit with the big hat and the cane and doing the voice.
Well, now we know what the next shirt's going to be. Oh my goodness, The Godfather. All right, so Andre Adams says, "Take my money."
Send it to auction instead of buy it now. Let's see how high it goes.
Chevetti says Tritionary's shirt has dropped. No, it's not the Trition. There will be a shirt that is that says "I'm a Tritionary," but you know,
I think I feel my face getting hot.
I know. I can tell this is really.
So are
really
the viewers.
You know what?
Absolutely.
I had to go. I had to go with you know. But
It's very flattering. Thank you.
Regina Sharp for 5 says, "But Trish, what is a man? A miserable little pile of secrets."
What is a man?
That's a reference. I don't get it.
What is that?
I don't understand that reference, Dean.
Yeah.
I think it's
Scott
Castlevania.
Scott Simmons says, "I don't want a membership. I want the
Yes, that's
shirt."
What
And
is
Liquid
a
Fox
man?
for 2 says, "I'm still waiting for a Tooney Town Wrestling TV coffee mug. I'm working on it, man. I'm working on it."
I'm gonna have Trish take the coffee mug and do that thing like she does with her profile picture.
Yeah.
That would involve me taking another picture. I hate doing that.
Oh gosh, trying to get when I had to use her picture in like the crime and punishment thing, getting a picture from her was like pulling teeth.
It really was. I don't
And like,
think I
God forbid,
love
like she gets it to you and it's not exactly like what you were like. You just have to just go with it.
it. Yep.
You have to
I'm
just go with
sorry.
it. She's not
You
taking
got it
a
to
second
happen.
one.
No, I hate taking photos. They make me so
right.
uncomfortable. I hate it.
You know what else you're gonna hate? Our next story,
Why?
because it's Harry Potter related,
Oh, all right.
and it's gonna make you mad.
You know,
Pedro
I think I'm-
Pascal calls
Oh.
calls Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling a heinous loser over comments defending biological sex definition. And
Whatever.
there he is.
May
By the
we
way,
all lose like her.
I was just
Yes,
gonna say, really.
This is the picture that I chose for this article because he looks like a heinous loser in that picture.
With the two yellows, just ugh.
I know. All right, Pedro Pascal, best known for his role in The Mandalorian and The Last of Us, has inserted himself into the ongoing debate over gender terminology and women's spaces by publicly disparaging best-selling Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling. The actor left a comment on activist Tariq Raouf's Instagram post calling Rowling a heinous loser following her support for a recent UK Supreme Court ruling that clarified legal definitions around biological sex. The ruling issued last week determined that sex in legal terms refers to biological gender and that biological sex, and that facilities and services designed for women, such as shelters, hospital wards, and sports, can operate on that basis without being compelled to include male-born individuals. This decision is considered a landmark clarification in UK law and was supported by Rowling, who posted, "I love it when a plan comes together." When challenged online, the Harry Potter author reminded critics that she continues to receive royalties whether her books are read or discarded. "I get the same royalties whether you read them or burn them," she wrote. "Enjoy your marshmallows."
I mean, really.
I love her. By the way, the pictures I chose of her, I chose the one of her pointing to her head because it's just like think dummies. And I chose this one because it just looks like she's saying enjoy your marshmallows. She is absolutely like savage on X, like when she's dealing with these people. Like, do you remember like when like she first started, like, you know, people noticed that she was like liking things about biological sex and whatnot, and they were trying, and her publicists were all like, "Oh no, you know, Joe has just had a senior moment, she didn't realize what she was liking." And now, like, fast forward to 2025 and she's like, "All right, listen." Like she is just completely taken the gloves off the last couple of years. The Instagram post that Pedro Pascal responded to was a lengthy critique of Rowling and included calls to undermine the upcoming Harry Potter television reboot in development at HBO. I mean, people were doing that anyway. Raouf urged followers to flood comment sections with slogans and boycott theme park attractions tied to the Harry Potter brand. Good luck. Epic Universe opens next month. That ain't happening. Though Pascal did not mention the series directly, his public support of the post was widely interpreted as an endorsement of the larger effort to discourage support for the franchise. His comment read, "Awful, disgusting expletive is exactly right. Heinous loser behavior." And then I decided to post this picture right alongside that quote.
Why does it look like he's going to invite my sons into a van for ice cream?
Because it's probably exactly what he did afterward.
He looks like the the safety warning videos from the 50s.
Oh my gosh.
Beware the
Built up
man
with
down by
strangers.
the water. He lives in a van.
Ooh, maybe he's gonna be in the remake of that Gordon Jump episode of Different Strokes.
Oh my god, the bicycle shop.
I was about to ask if there's the bicycle shop one. Now, while some online obviously applauded his stance, others pointed to Rowling's continued success and resilience in the face of public backlash. As the creator of one of the most lucrative book and film series in modern history, Rowling remains a cultural force. Her support of the UK ruling aligns with her longstanding advocacy for safeguarding spaces and services reserved for women, an issue she has spoken on publicly as a survivor of serious trauma in her own life. The reaction from Pascal reflects growing tension between public figures and creators navigating deeply personal topics through the lens of popular culture. Though the actor has made statements and gestures of support on red carpets and social media, some critics argue that resorting to name-calling only deepens the divide. Now, I just wanted to give an example of the things that Rowling says in some of her posts. She says, if sex isn't real, there's no same-sex attraction. If sex isn't real, the lived reality of women globally is erased. I know and love, it's not that I'm afraid to say the word, guys, it's that YouTube dings you for saying it, people, but erasing the concept of sex removes the ability of many to meaningfully discuss their lives. It isn't hate to speak the truth. Meanwhile, HBO continues to move forward with the Harry Potter reboot, which will span 7 seasons, each adapting one of Rowling's novels. The network has faced repeated calls for boycott since the project was announced, though HBO leadership has dismissed concerns, noting the massive commercial success of Hogwarts Legacy, a video game released in 2023 that broke sales records despite similar efforts to undermine it. Rowling, for her part, has remained unshaken by the public condemnations. Her message has always been consistent. She supports legal clarity on the basis of sex and believes in protecting rights for all without erasing definitions that underpin services for women. As the entertainment world continues to collide with sensitive social discourse, the divide between personal beliefs and professional obligations appear to be growing wider. Whether Pascal's remarks will influence Harry Potter reboot or HBO's positioning remains to be seen. It won't. It's Harry Potter. There's nothing that a man who looks like this is going to do to stop people from liking Harry Potter. I'm sorry. Guys, Trish, you want to weigh in first?
I feel like I say this a lot. He's just like, I'm bored of you, Pedro Pascal. Like, I'm bored of you. Just shut up. Shut up. Heinous loser behavior. That's such a lame insult anyway. And I feel like, if Pedro Pascal is calling me a heinous loser, like, whatever, then I must be doing something right. Because I just don't like anything about him.
But of all the people to call a loser, her? Like, she's the biggest winner that's ever lived. She crawled out of poverty to make the biggest book series that's ever existed.
One of the most successful women on the planet.
And she has a net worth of almost $1 billion.
Also,
Yeah,
it's like, who
doesn't agree
cares?
with him on something, so
Yeah, exactly. Martin's like, oh, well, that's it. It's like, I don't understand why I'm even supposed to care about what Pedro Pascal thinks about something he is not remotely involved in, and I don't want him to be. You know what I mean? Like, who cares? So whatever, Pedro Pascal. Don't read it. Don't watch it.
He looks like Bryden Queermo's dad from South Park, and the High School Musical episode, who's like, "I'm gonna slap you."
You ruined my hydrangeas.
But yeah, guys. Kev, anything you want to throw out about this one?
No, this is boring. Why are we still talking about this? This is like, I'm going back to murders. This is boring. People are still whining about her having an opinion they don't like, when the rest of the planet's like, yeah, we're kind of with you on this one. All the rest of her Looney Tune nonsense, guys, you keep that stuff. But she's got one thing: get over it, because everybody else agrees with her. And
that's the thing. The people that attack her and call for boycotts of her, she agrees with you guys on 99% of the things that you do. Let's not forget, she signed off on Papa Isidore as Snape. They could not have moved forward without that happening. This is the one thing that she disagrees with you all on, and you vilify her like she is the Wicked Witch of the West End. That was clever. I thought that was good. But,
it took me
Martin
a second. I
Stone.
got there.
Martin Stone, your thoughts?
Yeah, I kind of agree with you all. Like Kevin, on some level, I think, why are we even talking about this? But at the same time, Pedro Pascal keeps getting shoved down our throats.
Oh, it's just so relentless.
And so I think it's our civic responsibility to mock him.
Yeah.
His stupid yellow sweater.
Did you see him at Star Wars Celebration with those shorts and the boots?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's what I was referencing with the puffy shirt and short pants.
Yeah.
I really feel like we should put a giant montage together of all of his heinous little sissy boy outfits. I feel like Pedro Pascal should be offering me berries and cream anytime he pops up.
Yes. Oh, that always makes me laugh. Laughing
seriously,
thinking about it.
We were sitting there, like they showed this this Mandalorian clip of Mando like spinning around through like all this through a whole bunch of hold on one second. I'm trying to find an image of it. Like basically just capping guys left and right. I mean, and then he comes on stage looking like this with the puffy shirt and the shorts and the boots that look like he's about to wade in to go fly fishing.
He is the male Blake Lively with the way he dresses. He clearly dresses himself, and nobody can tell him that's horrendous.
Is that Sigourney Weaver cosplaying as Ellen?
Is that Sigourney Weaver?
It is.
It is Sigourney Weaver. I believe she is in the
Sigourney.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
So she and Pedro coordinated earlier in the day, and she said, "No, I'm wearing the men's clothes."
Yeah, basically, she looks more. She if somebody was like, "You have to fight one of these two," I'm like, she's the one that I'm not picking because, like, I feel like she is probably tougher than Pedro Pascal. He plays all of these like badass characters: Joel, Mando, the Viper. Even he was even a general in Gladiator, and he looks like you could knock him out with a daffodil stem.
So specific.
It's Nolan Thunder. What do you've been quiet on this one? What do you think?
Well, Pedro Pascal is pretty good at making me not want to watch Pedro Pascal. So he's got some talent. I got to give him that.
It's kind of brave because people are getting burnt out on him. I hear it more and more.
Oh yeah, of course. They're burned out on him and Zendaya.
Yep.
Because they're the two people that are in everything.
But at least Zendaya is about her business, being engaged to Tom Holland, Pedro Pascal, like, people are getting burnt out on you, and now you're saying things that you just are gonna annoy people.
You know what's funny? How did we get stuck with him? How did the guy who has made 1,000 TV pilots that never got picked up, including that terrible Wonder Woman pilot that I want to see more of, how did we get here? What crossroads demon did he...
It was Mandalorian, I thought.
Oh, Narcos. That's right.
Oh, Narcos.
I forgot he was Narcos.
I have a theory I want to bounce off you guys. Do you remember Andy Kaufman, or when Joaquin Phoenix lived this weird character for a year?
Mm-hmm.
What if Pedro Pascal's doing that? What if it's all a gag?
Then bravo, but I'm you know what? Then then yes, you know what? Hope springs eternal. So let's hope this is just a big gag.
Could you imagine if it is? He's going home and he's like watching the NFL draft, and he's like wearing a jersey and drinking beer, drinking a PBR.
Well, PBR again.
I had a PBR for the first time recently. It's my first time having that. And then I was told that it's no longer a I was told that it was no longer a like a redneck beer. It was a hipster beer now.
Yeah, I told you that.
Oh, okay.
Well, I never thought it was a redneck beer. I thought it was more like a Midwestern blue collar kind of thing.
Is it?
Definitely not a lot of money, kind of.
Like a
because it's cheap beer.
A Red Foreman drink.
Yeah.
Oh,
I feel like Pedro drinks flavored LaCroix.
It's definitely
It's so specific.
Definitely a Zima man.
Well, because LaCroix tastes like water that was placed into like into a container that had at one point in time in its existence had juice in it.
Well, you know, like when you get a Sprite and it doesn't actually give you any syrup, it just gives you the soda water.
Yeah.
And maybe you accidentally, out of the corner of your eye, saw an orange. That's the koi.
Yeah, that's LaCroix. I have bought LaCroix, but that's because I buy the plain unflavored one. Oh my gosh, I was recently introduced by a colleague of ours to Clearly Canadian sparkling water. By the way,
Yeah, I've heard of that.
it's so like it comes in glass glass bottles, which weirded me out a little bit. Yeah. It was so like it tasted so pure.
That's Perrier. That came in glass bottles.
Yeah, no, this made Perrier taste like mud water. Like it was
mud water. Oh.
Back in the 90s, my sisters loved Clearly Canadian.
I saw some people in the chat were saying that they didn't even know who Pedro Pascal was. I don't want to tell you because like I envy you. Like continue to live like that, my friend. Like
that episode of 30 Rock where Liz Lemon's brother had a head injury in like 1986. So I thought it was still that.
Oh man. All right. So let's get to some super chats and then we'll go into some more Pedro bashing. So let's see here. Regina Sharp we did that one. Liquid Fox for $2 said we did that one too. Never mind. Okay, Regina Sharp for $10. I swear, gotta get y'all's gaming memes up. Sheesh, had to look up a Castlevania classic. Next, I'll mention all your base, and you'll have to Google again.
I feel like I was pretty quick on the Castlevania.
I thought you were.
All your base belong to us. We need your winner from Big Rigs. That's what we need.
Let's see here. Brett Smith for $5 says the post WrestleMania flu hit me hard, so I better donate to see more t-shirts. Oh man, yeah. Brett Smith was at WrestleMania. Man, if I got sick from MegaCon, I can only imagine the unwashed nerd flu that you got from WrestleMania, my friend.
Yet another thing you would worry about while sitting there. That and the traffic.
100%. 100%. That and the traffic. Martin. They're getting on me because at WrestleMania I said if I were in that crowd, I would not be able to have the slightest bit of fun because the entire time I would be thinking about how bad the traffic is going to be when we leave here and how much of a nightmare it's going to be when we go to get out.
I would think that at the end,
who's waiting around for a kid.
You know what? I got it. It's the Montanaro family genes because my old man was that. Like he had it planned down to a second, whether we were at a baseball game or a concert. Like he knew like the specific song at a concert to be like, all right, let's go. Or like it would be like the top of the 8th inning at Yankee Stadium, and he'd be like, all right, time to go. And we'd be like, oh, but it's like a close game. He's like, nope.
We will listen on the radio on the way home.
Yep.
My dad used to do that.
Oh man, it was. I mean, like I remember one of their friends was with us one time, and she was literally in awe that we got out of Yankee Stadium so fast. Like we were the first ones out of there.
Well, you see, you don't want to be one of those chumps that leaves during the 7th inning stretch. It's too much of a crowd.
Oh yeah, of course. No, you have to wait until at least the 8th. It might have been the bottom of the 8th, to be fair. But my old man was or he is still just a ninja when it comes to such things.
We picked a tight end? Okay. Spellard, my God. Okay, continue, Marvin. I'm sorry.
You're speaking sports ball language.
Sports ball.
Yes.
Liquid Fox for $5 Canadian says, Kevin could get epic revenge on me for my comment about his cat's name a few weeks back. Order a Tooney Town wrestling mug and get an Obama one. I would deserve it. Oh man, you mean this? Hold on, the super chat's in the way. It's still my favorite picture that's ever existed. Oh man.
The fascinating thing about it is it looks like it was a mug somebody already had.
It was a
put
mug
that
symbiote.
picture. No. And put that picture on it.
Picture on.
Oh.
It doesn't look like a mug someone
not a mug that was
originally made
specifically
like
with
that.
him on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was
I
an
get
existing old lady floral mug.
That's what it looks like.
It
Which
kinda
is even
does, you're right.
funnier because you have to go out of your way to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe
they were
Michelle
selling it.
okayed those when she was unhappy with Barack.
Oh my goodness. Hold on one second. All right. So moving along. Andre Adams for $4.99 says Pedro Pascal built like dogs walk backwards because they don't trust him. I love the Andre Adams roasts.
It's a wordsmith.
Cyber Psycho Sid became a YouTube member. Congratulations. Welcome, my friend. We are excited to have you. Let me see if I can go back in the chat and see what level you became a member at. As a Tooney Town tenant. Welcome. Welcome to the Tooney Town tenant level. Oh my goodness. All bee booty bees and bacon with big bees for $2. Pedro Pascal is not a good person. Oh my gosh, that's a lot.
I think it is.
He's headbutting Pedro Pascal.
Is that Sydney Sweeney in the background?
I think it is.
It is. Oh, there's like layers to this.
Yeah, there were Photoshop layers, all right.
B, you're amazing because like I feel like you send your super chat and then you immediately start working on the next one.
I like to think it just has a list of different things to do.
Regina Sharp said yellow shirt and sweater. Pedro looks like a character in a That's Pat skit on older SNL. Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
Yeah, I definitely see it.
Andre Adams for $2 says Pedro Pascal and Seth Rollins share a closet.
Seth Rollins' attire is atrocious.
But at least Seth Rollins is playing a character.
I know, but it's still, I don't know. I saw his
Pedro
Hall of Fame suit. Oof.
Pedro, yeah, because he's still in character.
Oof.
Pedro
Oof.
Pascal wears normal clothes when he plays a character and then dresses like that in his free time.
Oof. I'm just saying. It's a very apt comparison.
Regina Shop for $10. I have a working theory that Pedro Zendaya and Timothy Chalamet have "My Name Is Weird" recognition in Hollywood, and it's mistaken it for "We Like Them" name reminiscence. I said chamomile.
Timotei.
Timotei.
Chalamet.
You gotta say it like Nell. Timotei.
Liquid Fox for $2 Canadian says Pedro looks like his life is inspired by Fez. Oh gosh. Brett Smith for $5 says I was out of the stadium and to my Uber within 15 minutes and I was in the nosebleeds. I got your exit paths, people, and book Uber as you walk. That is wise words if you're Ubering. Forever Runner for $1.99 says Pedro is a great actor but is overexposed. I agree that the guy's got talent. The fact that he is able to actually pass on screen as a man with testosterone is astounding, and is a credit to his skill. I just hate everything that he does outside of the the screen.
You need the
Forever
Michael
Runner
Scott clip. I hate everything you choose to be.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Let's see. Forever Runner for $1.99. It says he is the Charlotte Flair of Hollywood. Oh dear. Oh yeah, shoved down our throats. Like I would say the mid 2010s Roman Reigns of Hollywood, maybe. Roman actually
Sideshow
got good.
Bob, like that's what I do.
Charlie Zulu Oscar became a YouTube member. I believe upgraded in membership to join the Tooney Town Council. Which that's awesome. That means we don't usually have council members, so I typically like we didn't have any, so I wasn't like putting the thing up. But when we do our member stream, which is usually supposed to be Mondays at 3, but this week I just got back from vacation, so I wasn't able to do it. We allow Tooney Town Council members to join us for a little bit on the panel. So
Hey Marvin,
now we've got Tooney Town Council members. What?
He's on the council, but do we grant him the rank of master?
We do. In this case, we do. Because that would be outrageous. It'd be unfair. Never been done in the history of the Tooney Town Order. And Aldo's journal for 199 is starting to feel ashamed of being his nationality. Hey, it has nothing to do with you, man. If I had, if I felt responsible for every Italian or every monster, then the world would be a dark place.
And that's just the Italian monsters,
right?
Yeah, exactly. Let me just do the math real quick, just to see where we are on the 237, 242, 244, 249, 251, 261, 263, 268. We're at 270, 272, 292, and 294. So we are $6 away from another t-shirt reveal, guys. So
$6 super chat, please.
You said 294?
Yeah.
I thought it was every 200, so wouldn't you have to get to 400?
We are $106 away.
That was like ...
Meanwhile, everyone in the chat being like, "No, Martin, don't tell him."
Mm-hmm. Do you guys think that now, after the first 200, I should make it I should make it every $100?
Yes.
I mean,
I think so too. All right, we are changing it to every $100 after the first 200. So the first one was for 200, and now we are going to do. Let me just change that real quick.
I'm now altering the deal.
Yes. To 600. So there we go.
Yeah, don't alter it further.
Thank you, Nolan. Trisha's like, "What's that? Did you make that up?"
I wasn't. I was reading the chat, so I don't actually know what he said, but I'm certain I did not know it. So.
And BPE for $10, half a BPE, half a BPE special.
Pulling another BPE.
Yeah, $10 and no message. Like I
Well,
said,
I guess you get a shirt.
That brings us to 304. And Regina Sharp for $5. Bring us to 309. Says you killed the grift, Martin. And Andre Adams
I didn't invent math. Take it up with the Babylonians.
Andre, you were sent short. We're sent short, man.
Andre Adams says Martin Narcast Stone. All right, I guess we're revealing another T-shirt. Which one should
Poor
it
Martin's
be?
just like, I just did math. That's all.
It'd be hilarious if that last one was the T-shirt.
All right, I think I'm going to go with the main one, which is probably be the first one that we launch. It is a Tooney Town TV Marvin the Movie Monster shirt. And also, if I can get Awful to convince our partners to make this somewhat affordable, there will be a colorized version of it.
Yay!
So there you go.
That's so cool.
I know which one I'm going to reveal next because it's one of my favorites. So, but yeah, so far, just to review, our first shirt is going to be.
You just wanted to put that up again. That's all you wanted to do is put that up again.
And our second one will be the Marv Get Out of Here, Tooney Town TV T-shirt in both black and white and color versions. So
that's so cool.
My goodness. All right. Regina Sharp for $5 goes math. Marvin's only Bane. I have many more Banes than that, but that brings us to 316. Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, 316, Trish. Kevin just stepped away. Kevin's not feeling well, so he just had to step away for a second. Oh, and his power just went out apparently. Oh my goodness, what is?
I was going to say, all of a sudden he's not all of a sudden. I'm just dawning on me now we're a quad, but
yeah,
he's just suddenly
chewing
gone.
on the power lines.
Chef Eddie says the Trish shirt will sell out in minutes. I actually do think that's going to be a big seller.
God.
Well, Trish gets a few bucks out of every one of those shirts, so
yeah. So go for it, guys.
You get a few bucks out of my cut of it. So,
thank you.
Oh, that's not fair that I make money off of your name. So, We got a member chat from hold on. Are we caught up on? Yes. Okay. Liquid Fox, member for 7 months, says use Trish to lure the simps, then tell them to get out of here once you got their money. There's the monster I became a member for. Yep.
I was thinking you need to sell it harder. You need to be like at the end of this, now get out of here and go buy the new shot.
Oh my goodness. All right. So in more Pedro Pascal news, Pedro Pascal compares Reed Richards to an octopus as Fantastic Four First Steps teases more ideological character changes. Now, you might think, well, that kind of works because, he's a stretchy and he has the stretchy limbs, an octopus. No, he does not mean physically. Marvel Studios once stood for excitement, consistency, and crowd-pleasing spectacle, but based on the latest wave of quotes and footage from Fantastic Four First Steps, it's clear the studio is still prioritizing abstract metaphors and identity-driven rewrites over the qualities that made the brand a global juggernaut. The latest example, Pedro Pascal describing his take on Reed Richards, aka Mr. Fantastic, as inspired by an octopus. Yes, really. With Reed, his body may stretch, but this is a brain character, Pascal told Comic Book. I guess I'll just give it completely away. I thought of the brilliance of an octopus, not in any literal physical translated way, but I put it into my subconscious.
This sounds like the plot of a hentai.
To be clear, this is not a slip up. It was pitched as a character secret.
I'm telling you, this is a gag. It's
gotta be, right?
This whole Pedro Pascal character he's playing, that it's gotta be.
It's gotta be, yeah. Let's examine that one more time. With Reed, his body may stretch, but this is a brain character. First of all, guys, it's very hard for somebody who is not smart to play someone who is smart or to write someone who is smart. So, this is a brain character is one of the stupidest things I've ever heard in my life. Oh, Albert Einstein. He was that brain guy. I guess I'll just give it completely away. I thought of the brilliance of an octopus, not in any literal physical translated way, but I put it into my subconscious. Now, look, octopi are apparently very intelligent creatures. They can reason. They can, apparently, they have personalities. I don't think one of them is Reed Richards, though. Martin, what are your thoughts on this?
I think maybe Pedro was trying to figure out what he was going to wear to his next weird little function, and was watching My Octopus Teacher on Netflix, and just thought this was a smart thing to say.
It is just, it's mind-numbing. It's mind-numbing that he thought. Nolan, what do you think?
He seems really dumb.
Right? Just an aggressively dumb human being.
Supposed to be the smartest man in all of Marvel. And correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't he in the comics the man responsible for Ultron?
No, that's Hank Pym.
Okay. Either way, smart dude. Very smart. And you know what? I have to admit, sometimes hey, I don't get everything right because I'm not a comic expert. This guy, he doesn't seem in any sense being able to be it's such a daunting task. I'm trying to play the role of the smartest man in all of Marvel, like that. It would be, I need to humble myself because, it's just such a big task to take on, to go on a role like that. And the dude's talking to me in a more, somehow even more hippie than a life guru will. I've never even seen a life coach give this kind of advice. This is, was he on anything? What kind of interview was this? Was he in a van at this time?
It was with comicbook.com. So I think he's just high on the drug called Pedro Pascal.
I banned that.
Trish, Trish, I know you already weren't interested in Fantastic Four, but did hearing that the main character supposedly approached his role by wanting to put an octopus into his subconscious, does that make you want to see it anymore?
No, who did he think he was playing? Doc Ock or something? Why an octopus? What does that have to do
No,
with
that would make sense. That would almost. This makes no sense. You know what?
Like he is aware he's Reed Richards, right?
We're gonna look at this again. With Reed, his body may stretch, but this is a brain character. I guess I'll just give it completely away. I thought of the brilliance of an octopus, not in any literal physical translated way, but I put it into my subconscious.
If we're gonna parse this, there are just so many layers here to like he's giving away a little bit of his craft. He's letting us have a peek at the master behind the works.
Right.
It's a comic book movie. We want to see people having fun and doing cool things and being hot chicks and cool guys. That's all we want.
Lauren is back.
Speaking of cool guys.
Yeah.
The brilliance of an octopus.
Yes. I thought of the brilliant. One more time. We're going to read it one more time. With Reed, his body may stretch, but this is a brain character. I guess I'll just give it away completely. I thought of the brilliance of an octopus, not in any literal physical translated way, but I put it into my subconscious. Lauren, you're a comic book guy. You've read a lot of comic books in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever like to compare Reed Richards to an octopus physically? I could see because the arms stretch like tentacles. And he's not doing that though. It's not in a physical sense. It's the brilliance of the octopus.
Well, to be fair, octopi are pretty darn smart. They are cool. Smart.
Yes, I did make that point.
I don't think.
Go ahead.
I don't think of octopi when I think of Reed Richards. That's not the first thing that comes to mind. It's not even the second thing that comes to mind. I'm not sure if it's in the top 10. I'm pretty sure it's not. But it's interesting that his mind went there. I'd like to hear more because I think this makes Pedro instantly more fascinating.
Yep. Did you guys ever hear of Octopus Paul?
No. I would love to hear the legend of Octopus Paul.
Octopus Paul was an octopus who lived in Germany in 2000. He was 2008 or something like that. So he was hatched from an egg at the Sea Life Center in Weymouth, England, and was then moved to a tank in one of the chain's centers at Oberhausen, Germany. Now, why is Octopus Paul, a thing here? Well, he was psychic, apparently. Paul's career as an oracle began during the UEFA Euro 2008 tournament. In the lead up to Germany's international football matches, Paul was presented with 2 clear plastic boxes, each containing food, a mussel or an oyster. Each container was marked with the flag of a team, one of the flag of Germany and the other the flag of Germany's opponent. The box which Paul opened first and ate its contents was then deemed to be the predicted winner of the match. Every single one he predicted.
Nice.
Yep.
So, are you suggesting that Mr. Fantastic is going to be presented with plastic boxes and being forced to choose which teams are going to win in sports matches?
That's how he defeats Galactus. He gave the whole thing away.
Yeah. So, you know what? In the UEFA Euro 2008 tournament, he was actually incorrect twice. He was kind of a hometown boy in that one. He picked Germany every single time, and in 2 of them he was incorrect because Germany lost 2 times. However, in the 2010 FIFA World Cup, he predicted every single one. Every single one, including Germany's loss to Spain. Paul predicted that, which I had heard led to his immediate death, but the rumor that I heard was because Paul dies in 2010, in Germany. So I had heard that like angry fans like killed and ate him, but so
with some marinara because that's delicious.
I hope so. It is really good.
Well, while I was gone, did you get to reveal the shirt?
We did. We revealed 2 of them, actually.
Do I get to see them?
No, you weren't here. Now we do.
God.
One of them is
Damn it, Lauren.
one of them is I only watch for Trish. And the other one is
silence.
The Get Out of Here Marvin the Movie Monster Tooney Town TV shirt.
Very nice.
Yeah. Lauren's already is already pre-ordering an I only watch for Trish shirt.
Stop.
So yeah, an octopus. I don't know why, but that's far from the stupidest thing people have said about their role in this movie. If we look at things that the rest of the cast has said, Joseph Quinn, who plays Johnny Storm, openly questioned whether the character's traditional bravado and flirtatiousness is even acceptable anymore, saying he was branded as this womanizing devil-may-care guy, but is that sexy nowadays? I don't think so. This version of Johnny is less callous with other people's feelings. That's
like the ultimate turnoff.
It's the opposite of the character.
It was just because also not the point.
Meanwhile, Vanessa
the
Kirby's... yeah, you're right. There's nowhere for him to grow and change the way Chris Evans did in the two movies from the 2000s.
Even I know that. Come on.
Yeah, but Vanessa Kirby Sue Storm has been recast not only as pregnant, but as the leader of a global peace initiative, part of the film's alternate history Utopia, and the director called her the most emotionally intelligent person on the planet. And Kirby herself added, "How can you be all the things? Not just the tough, invincible, powerful woman, but also a mother who gives birth, which is itself a superhero act."
I think I'd like to quote Dash from The Incredibles.
Please do.
If everybody's special, then nobody is.
Pretty sure that was Syndrome that said that.
I thought Dash said it when he was upset that his parents wouldn't let him.
Oh, maybe he did.
Yeah.
I kind of hope she births an octopus.
Franklin Richards,
Imagine the
Franklin Richards is Octopus Franklin. Kevin Apollo. I guess Apollo's on his phone. He's like, "We talking about soccer? No, we're talking about Octopus Ball." Let's see. Yeah, so that's the tone here. We're not celebrating heroism. We're celebrating an ideological treatise on modern definitions of strength, gender, and emotional validation. It also features this thing as the as the Silver Surfer. How is it possible that the one in Rise of the Silver Surfer from the aughts, like, that looks better than this? Did
What's
you guys
the point
watch
of
that
getting
trailer
an actress to play this character if the whole thing just looks like a cartoon to begin with?
I don't know. It's ridiculous. Utterly ridiculous. This movie is going to bomb. It's terrible. Nothing can save Marvel. It's over. It's over and done with.
I do have thoughts about the CGI stuff. That
Please.
You look at some of the original CGI we saw in the 90s. Like, okay, not original CGI, but some of the character work that was being done in the 90s, like the Tyrannosaurus Rex that is chasing after characters in Jurassic Park. That looks good even to this day. And that was rendered on computers that are vastly inferior at sort of the beginning of character work for CGI. But it looks great because the director understood lighting and the people actually took the time to build those characters correctly. The industry today is not being given the time to let people actually develop interesting and quality computer-generated characters. And in addition to that, we seem to have lost the art of filmmaking that can hide some of the defects.
You make a brilliant point, Martin. I was actually just listening back to our Sequest episode here. We done Lost Guys a while back before coming on. I remember I brought up how back in those days, they used to put a character in the dark. They would have it raining most of the time to hide, the imperfections of CGI. Nowadays, it just feels like a checklist. They're like, it's taking a lazy route. It's like, whatever, we'll just do it in post, and the whole thing falters because they look at it more like it's a grocery list as opposed to a craft. It's lazy.
Yeah, I can see that.
Somebody in the chat is saying that Jurassic Park was animatronics. It was a blend of computer and animatronics.
It was. Kevin Apollo says, my cable went out because my reaction to this would have been demonetization for life. Yeah, no, it would have. I made sure to hit the kill switch that I had installed on his house. It's because Doug Jones was in a costume 80% of the time. Okay, that makes sense. For the, it's just this movie's gonna be terrible. I have no hope left for it. I think it's gonna be probably the worst movie Marvel's put out since the Marvels. I predict worse than Captain America: Brave New World. Oh, by the way, speaking of Marvel, next week we will be talking about the Thunderbolts because I have a 5:20 p.m. Ticket to go see the Thunderbolts. So we'll be able to, discuss it.
Is it this weekend?
It is next weekend.
Next weekend. Okay. I'm seeing Revenge of the Sith this weekend. I'm like, oh,
that'll be fun. I should do that too. I should do that too, but I am going to Epic Universe this weekend, so I might be wiped out because we are going to stay from morning to night. It is going to be fantastic.
Have fun, my friend. Have fun.
All right. While we got Lauren here, I want to move on to a story that I really want his take on. Andor, I know, Lauren, is a show that you enjoyed the first season of. Have you watched Andor season 2 yet?
I have not had the opportunity yet. No.
Are you aware of the thing that happens?
Yep. And I had heard rumors about it before, so I was kind of braced for it.
Right. So we're going to be very careful with how we talk about this. Andor showrunner defends that season 2 controversy with shocking quote, "It felt right," confirmed that Disney did not challenge the disturbing scene. So what scene are we talking about here, guys? Well, in Andor season 2, I think I probably explained it in a way in the article. Hold on, where is okay, so a scene in which an Imperial officer attempts to force himself on a undocumented rebel fugitive, Bix Colleen. The moment ends with Bix screaming the nature of what happened to her, removing all ambiguity. It left many viewers shocked, not just for its content, but for what it signaled about the franchise's tonal direction. Guys, I will use a substitute word here. Grape has come to Star Wars.
With a G.
Yes, with a G, grape. And this is what the showrunner had to say. Let's be honest, man. The history of civilization. There's a huge arterial component of that. That's that thing. All of us who are here, we're all the product of that thing. I mean, armies and power throughout history have committed that thing. So to not touch it in some way, it was just organic. And it felt right coming out as a power trip for this guy.
That's a new one.
The other thing is, he wanted to say that the story arc was meant to build a path back to clarity for Bix and that Disney never pushed back on it. He said, no one said anything about it ever, but we have limits on what we can do. We are very aware of what we can do. In other words, Bob Iger did not have anything to say about this. Now, Star Wars Theory, the biggest Star Wars YouTuber on the planet, responded with, SA and Star Wars feels unnecessary. You can portray power dynamics and making the audience hate the Empire in other ways without taking it to such a disgusting place. And this is where I really agree. Vader wouldn't tolerate that nonsense, nor does the Empire condone it. It has no place in Star Wars, period. Unnecessary. Lauren, I wanted to get your thoughts on this while I run to get a tissue. I can still hear you while you talk.
So I talked about this last night on Pro Stream, and I have a lot of thoughts about it, but I think they're probably going to be unsatisfying to the audience because I have to build in some qualifiers here. I have been a fan of Andor Season 1. I think generally this kind of a thing is a mistake if you're going to have this on Disney Plus where it's accessible to kids. On the other hand, this is a grittier take on Star Wars, and it's been positioned that way. I haven't seen the scene, so I can't really comment on it because I understand the context of the scene, but until I can see how it plays out, I can't tell you what I think of it because I haven't seen it. I think that I agree with the point that Star Wars Theory makes that Vader would never tolerate this, and the point that I argued last night was that there's really two different ways that I could argue that. First of all, I think you do have to make a distinction between Anakin and Vader. I think that Vader does have different priorities after the fall, but even if you don't want to appeal to the side of Vader that has Anakin still in there, the side that Luke appealed to in Return of the Jedi, completely evil Vader would still oppose this because you have to have discipline among the rank and file. You have to maintain order within the troops, or they'll quickly become a rampaging horde. You will not have control and order, which is what the Empire is about. So I agree with that take. That said, if you're going to have a grittier take on war and Star Wars, I'm not necessarily against it as a plot point. The argument that I would make is similar to the one that I made last night. I think that it's on par with Vader killing the younglings. That didn't happen on screen, but as I understand it, she escapes and this doesn't occur. It's an attempted act.
Yes.
It is
Yeah.
not. It is not an actual act. The other side of it is that if you want that grittier take, and honestly, a lot of the appeal for Andor to me is that it made the Empire a credible threat again. It made the Empire scary. In my opinion, we'd strayed too far towards the bumbling doofuses who fall all over themselves and don't have a brain in their head. What Andor did was it made the Empire intelligent, calculating, ruthless, understanding what it is doing and doing it anyway, because the people that are supporting the system believe that that will bring order. And I think that that is what they're trying to play into here. They want the Empire to be despicable and evil. The other thing about this is, in war and in any society and any system, you're going to have bad apples. And that's why I think you can have a character that does this and still have the Empire that would not support it and would probably prosecute the person themselves. So it's a John's asking, didn't I play TIE Fighter? Yeah, absolutely I did. But that's my take on it. I am not automatically against it. The final argument that I made last night was, would it change your opinion of this? And what I said last night was if it wasn't Star Wars, but let's say it is still Star Wars. Would it change your opinion if rather than putting this on Disney Plus, they still had something like the Touchstone label that they put their more adult content under? Would that make you feel better about it?
Possibly a little bit, because this is it's not like Andor has a like parental like warning on it, or like, you know, they put a warning on Dumbo and Peter Pan, but they're not going to put one on this. It's and she literally comes out and says he tried to me, like it's full on like is in your face. I also, the reason I have an issue with it is I don't think this is a place George would have ever approved of taking Star Wars.
I think you're probably right, because he wanted to lean on the lighter tone. This is not the light.
This doesn't
goofy...
sell toys.
No, it doesn't, and I get that, but I do think that there is a place for a grittier Star Wars. I do think that if you're going to have this kind of content, there should be a content warning on it. But again, I'm not completely against it. Now, my opinion may change once I actually see it, and I'll let you know if it does. But until I watch it, I can't make a final comment.
I agree mostly with what Lauren's saying, but I do want to ask a couple of things as a devil's advocate kind of thing. You said that Vader wouldn't put up with it. The Vader who walked into a classroom filled with younglings and did away with them?
Yes, actually, I believe that that's consistent with his character, because in that moment when he slaughtered the younglings, he didn't want to do it, but he believed he was doing it to save his wife. And that's what caused him to take leave of all sense and abandon his principles. It was the one thing, the only thing that could have pushed him to cross that line. Once she's gone, the only thing that he has left is the vision of order that he believes the Empire can bring to stop the chaos. And if you allow
What's more
your
chaotic
troops,
than that?
yeah, if you allow your troops to act in an indiscriminate manner, that's not order, and you will not be able to control them.
I agree with
And
that.
so yeah, I think that's consistent with Vader.
I also think that when Vader killed the younglings, I think in a sense he saw them. He was able to, for better or worse, see them as enemy combatants in that moment.
Well, he says at the end that in my opinion the Jedi are evil. And
Yes.
he's only saying that in that moment because of the grief that he is feeling, knowing that everything that he loved is slipping through his fingers. He's lost it and he knows it. He knows, even though the duel isn't over yet, all he can see is that Obi-Wan is standing between him and what he wants, which is a normal life with his wife and children. He can't have that if the Jedi remain, and that has made them his enemy.
Well, and he's before Obi-Wan shows up, he's watching the lava flows, tear running down his face. Clearly he's a man who is conflicted at this time. I'm just saying that, George introduced some dark stuff in the prequel trilogy. For all it's light and flashy and faster, louder, more energetic, it did go to darker places than the original trilogy did. Now,
Yes.
I think I should be able to watch Star Wars and have a good, fun time with my 14-year-old son. And I get that there can be a broad range of things. But, he's not going to watch the Ewoks cartoon show with me anymore, but his little sister is.
That was on the cruise, by the way.
Yeah.
There was all the cruise channels that they just took like a hodgepodge of different shows and would just lump them into these channels. On the youth channel, on like the young cruisers channel, it had a bunch of cartoons, and one of them that played all the time was the Ewoks cartoon. Forgot how bad it was, but anyway, go ahead.
Well, and there's another element to this. Everybody, like the director, is it Gilroy?
Tony Gilroy.
Yeah, Tony Gilroy.
His comments are idiotic, and I get what he's saying, but he's conflating, and we all do this because the modern interpretation of that word, or the modern denotation of that word, means a very specific thing. But when we talk about the R of a culture, or to R and pillage, those are actually very old phrases that originated at a time when that word meant to abscond with something, to take away from. Now, that's not to say the Vikings didn't do exactly that thing we think that word means, but that's not what that phrase actually means.
Right.
So when you talk about the R of the natural world,
I don't think that's what he's saying. I think that he did mean the actual act. I think he's arguing that takes place in war, and that because of that, all of our descendants are guilty of that sin.
Right. I agree with you. I'm just thinking he's building that thought process on the language that civilization is the R of the natural world.
I think his mouth was just outrunning his brain. He was trying to say something and sound intelligent, but he hadn't thought it all the way through.
Right.
Well, I'm, when he was talking to the Hollywood Reporter, which is like the friendliest outlet known to man. So if he had second guessed that, he could have very easily gone back and been like, maybe don't print that, and they wouldn't have done it because they're shills. But yeah, man, here's the thing, and this is the thing that irks me about all the people that are defending this, like hardcore defending it, not just trying to see the reason like Lauren did in a very intelligent way. These are the same people that will scream at you when we think philosophically about Star Wars and we talk about what a character would and wouldn't do. These are the same people who scream at you, this is a kid's movie. Because George was very clear, these are stories for kids.
I agree with you there, and I when it comes to those type of disingenuous arguments, I wouldn't engage in them. But I'm not willing to go where you're going, which is that if George disapproves of it, that means I must disapprove of it, because I think Star Wars is bigger than that, and I think that there's a lot of things in the EU that George also wouldn't have approved of. Now, that's not.
If I was saying that, I apologize. That's not what I meant.
No. I'm not talking about
it was
you.
What I was.
Okay.
Yeah, I was more talking about Marvin. It's that I think there is room for adult storytelling in Star Wars, and Again, I'm not giving my endorsement to season 2 because I haven't seen it. I give season 1 my wholehearted endorsement because, in my opinion, it did something that Star Wars had forgotten to do for a very long time. And when I was first watching season 1, I didn't like it. It took me about 5 episodes to change my mind. And when I finally got it, when it clicked, it changed my opinion entirely on the series. And I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that they were making you wait week to week, and it felt really, really slow. I think that's why they're releasing season 2 the way they are, is that it's going to be a 4-year arc. Each week is taking place over 1 year in a 3-episode arc. So you're basically getting a mini movie that's portraying what happens in a year. Pacing wise, I'm betting that's going to work a lot better for the show. I also have I, I had been teasing for the last year where I thought season 2 was going to go. They've confirmed that now in interviews that they're going to show the Gorman massacre, and that is what I have always believed that Andor was going to be leading up to. I'm very, very excited about that. There's a possibility that they could handle this very badly. I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. I'm curious to see where they go. What I would say for those people that are outraged about the plot point, I would say keep an open mind. I understand Star Wars is pitched to kids, but I'll bet most of us out there have enjoyed lots of R-rated entertainment. And if you're watching this as an adult, I can understand if you're upset that there's not a mature content warning. I get that. But I would ask, are you judging it based on the fact that they didn't warn kids, or are you basing it on the content? If you're basing it on the content, fair enough. If this is a line that you won't cross, I get it. But I would also ask the question, did you watch Game of Thrones?
I think Game of Thrones. I think the Game of Thrones, it's like that was always going to be a part of it. This is a thing that has been established for 40 years plus, or almost 50 years now, and we're now all of a sudden adding in just really dark elements that we've never experienced before. I don't know.
Well, going back to the EU, because there were some examples of that even in the EU, although I couldn't tell you where it's at right off the top of my head. But there were grittier stories even there. If you read any of the Republic Commando novels, those get pretty dark, so it's not like there has not been more adult content in Star Wars. This is a franchise that appeals to the very young, to the very old. It's a multi-generational thing. So that's all I'm saying. And I see Aowen out there saying, I don't really want to watch some R-rated things either. Again, fair enough. I'm not saying that if you don't want to watch that you're not a fan or that you shouldn't feel that way. I'm just saying that I think that some of the criticism of this is not really entirely fair. I think you have to judge the product based in the context of the story they're trying to tell. This happens to be a more adult story.
That's a very fair and balanced take. So the thing about Tony Gilroy, though, is he has bragged almost about the fact that he's not a Star Wars guy, not a Star Wars fan, not ultimately familiar with Star Wars, had to look up Wikipedia for a lot of lore questions. But he's one of the ones who was willing to actually work on Star Wars, which is not a thing that you're seeing with a lot of directors and actors lately. And I wanted to bring our attention to this. Now, we haven't covered this on TPP yet. I might cover it tomorrow. I'm still kind of debating on it because it gives like supposed plot details of Starfighter. So basically it's saying, this is according to Daniel Rickman, says Star Wars Starfighter follows a 15-year-old boy on a mission with his uncle. Right away, I call nonsense on that because there's no way this is a thing about a boy and an uncle. Two men? I don't think so. The uncle is played by Ryan Gosling. They're being pursued by a duo of villains, one male, one female. Jesse Plemons and Jodie Comer were initially offered the villain roles, but they both declined. Mikey Madison was later approached for the female villain, but also passed. Another key role is the boy's mother, possibly Gosling's sister or sister-in-law, though it's unclear. Sarah Snook was offered the part, but turned it down. Greta Lee was considered for another female role as a cantina owner that leads an encounter on their mission, but she too declined. Nobody wants to be in Star Wars anymore. And that's insane to me. Because imagine 15 years ago saying to any actor on the planet, do you want to be in a Star Wars movie? They would have all jumped face first at the opportunity. Now, with what Kathleen Kennedy has done, you can't get directors, you can't get writers, you can't get actors of any caliber to agree to be a part of Star Wars. That is how far we have fallen.
Well, I think it's besides even the quality of the productions that they've been putting out. You're rolling the dice on whether anything's even going to get off the ground. If you commit to a project, now granted, there's going to be protections for you in there if for some reason the project doesn't go forward. But even so, you're committing your time and closing yourself off potentially to other projects. And the track record that they have on producing anything is awful. It's a gamble to get in bed with Lucasfilm right now, especially when they're constantly announcing things and nothing ever comes of it. Now, I think Starfighter, I think, has a better than average chance of getting done because Ryan Gosling is involved and because what's his name, the director, Sean Levy. He's got some clout right now, and that may allow him to push the production forward with less oversight than some others might. But the other stuff, I still don't think Taika's movie is ever going to come out. I don't think the Rey movie is ever going to happen. And the thing that's going to kill this is that they're still playing in the sequel continuity. If you're doing that, you've already killed it. So I don't blame anybody for turning this down.
What's funny to me, Lauren, is that 2 years ago at Star Wars Celebration, it was all about the Rey movie. They brought Daisy Ridley out on stage. They brought Charmin Obaid-Chinoy up there. They basically like sounded the trumpets for them. This year, 2 years later, no conversation about it, except Kathleen Kennedy doing a whole big speech where she talks about all the things that are still in development, where she said Charmin Obaid-Chinoy's movie is still happening. And she even insinuated that Taika's movie is still happening. But let's be real here. I think this is they cannot announce that this Rey movie is canceled because they made such a big deal about it 2 years ago.
Yeah, to me, it feels like they're just waiting out the tenure, so that they can quietly dust broom it. But I mean, that's kind of the problem that they have right now is that I don't think anything outside of Starfighter is probably going to go to production. You've got The Mandalorian and Grogu, you've got Starfighter, and then what? Because Starfighter is going to die. If I don't care that Ryan Gosling's in it. If they try to hang on to the sequel continuity, it will not play. It will die an ignominious death. And at that point, you're dead in the water. And that will call for an absolute change of leadership.
Yep. So the thing about the Rey movie that strikes me is Damon Lindelof pitched that movie to them. It was his concept. He came to them with the idea and they said, great, go make it. And they fired him.
Yeah. I mean,
so
it's kind of been that's the pattern, it's like they want to hire particular directors for two reasons, in my opinion. In some cases, they want to hire them for prestige to use their name. For others, they want to do it for diversity points and because they're cheap. And in both cases, they don't really intend to let these people lead their projects. They just want them for the name or the checkbox. And then they want by committee to dictate how the movie will be. And you're just there to fulfill that role. I think that's why nobody wants to work with them right now. This is actually why I think the Sean Levy movie has a better than even chance of getting made, is that they do have Ryan Gosling signed. He's a relatively popular actor, and Levy's got a little bit of clout, and that may allow him to push back and say, no, this is my movie. We're doing it our way.
Right. I think
Star Wars Celebration.
Go ahead.
Star Wars Celebration reminds me of like car shows back 20 years ago when Ford would bring out some awesome prototype like the Interceptor, and then what you actually ended up getting is just another version of the Taurus.
That's very true. I think with the Sean Levy movie, I think right now there is a mandate behind the scenes, and I say this with no bluebirds or sparrows whispering things into my ear. I think that there is a mandate of get something in theaters. They've got Mando coming out, but he's like, you will make movies again.
That's the worst mandate of all. If their goal is just get something in theaters, they shouldn't even try. They have to rebuild the foundation of this thing, and that means they got to hit a home run. It can't just be something that's filler. You've got to have something that somebody is passionate about, that is consistent with what Star Wars is, and that will bring in a mass audience.
And this is a post-Acolyte world. You know, we've seen how bad a Star Wars project can fail. We've seen the worst failure imaginable with the Acolyte. Do you think it's possible that this story, because it's Starfighter, that's the name of it, do you think it's possible that there's some element of this was Patty Jenkins' Rogue Squadron movie, and maybe they retooled it from Girl Boss into Boy and his uncle?
Sure, it's possible, but I don't think it matters. The problem is that it's still the sequel trilogy timeline. If you were going to tell a Rogue Squadron story post Return of the Jedi immediately after, people would be all over it. But we're not going to tolerate anything that's touching the sequel trilogy anymore. It's done. Nope. This is the thing that kills Star Wars. They must jettison it.
It's an awful big galaxy. You could just ignore what happened.
I don't think you can do that either, because the fans are not going to trust you. It's like you can try to pretend, but they've rubbed our nose in it so much. Right now, I think the only thing that will satisfy us is delete it. It must be explicitly removed.
No, Nolan, you haven't weighed in on this yet. What are your thoughts?
At the end of the day, all roads lead to Jake Skywalker. Yep. I mean, I think back to a few years ago when they got Patty Jenkins and they announced that Rogue Squadron movie. And I was like, oh my gosh, I would love to see a Rogue Squadron movie. That was like my favorite game back on the GameCube, 64, all that. And then Patty Jenkins came out and it was all about being a woman. That's all they wanted to talk about with that. And then in a few years, the project was dead and then it was kind of alive. And it's just a meme at this point. How am I supposed to get excited for any kind of movie if you keep failing me time and time again to even put something out on the screen? This is Star Wars. I mean, whether it's become an irrelevant brand or not, when you think of movies, it is one of the first things you can think of. And if the studio is so incompetent that they can't even get a Star Wars movie out, that means there's problems going on behind the scenes. We just had Snow White come out, which was riddled with rumors about development issues and reshoots and stuff like that. And they're not doing anything to get anybody excited. Even the people that, you know, are the stereotypical, in their eyes, the toxic majority of the fans, you know, those old men who can't get over the George Lucas era. What are they doing to try to appeal to what they would consider the modern Star Wars fans? They've already made those people mad with, you know, giving up on the Acolyte. They're mad at them. They feel like they've caved into the haters, quote unquote. Mm-hmm. They haven't done anything with this Rey movie to be like, hey, we're going to bring back Adam Driver as a robot zombie thing, to bring back the Reylos. They haven't done anything to appeal to anyone except themselves, if even that. So I just don't see any faith in them being able to turn this ship around. Do I think this movie can get made with the names behind it? Unfortunately, but I just don't see how in the world they can save it, because they've tried to ignore this thing with Ahsoka and a little bit with The Mandalorian. But at the end of the day, if your viewers have just lost interest in your product, it's a hard thing to win back. And I don't care how many fireworks or lightsabers you do, that original audience is going to be stubborn until you do something that makes up for the poor foundation you built prior.
Agreed. Speaking of the sequel trilogy, one real quick last thing. Kelly Marie Tran, Rose Tico, lashed out at Star Wars fans in a new interview this week, claims that she felt persecuted over race and gender. So she was promoting her new movie, The Wedding Banquet, and she echoed very similar remarks to John Boyega. In a new interview with Entertainment Weekly, she addressed the backlash, stating, I was already being ridiculed. There were comments about my race or comments about me being a woman. I already felt like I was being persecuted for those things. She added that her experience led her to seek out therapy and join support groups to cope with the reaction to her role. In further news on this story, Rose Tico actress Kelly Marie Tran's film The Wedding Banquet fails to make $1 million at the box office after she publicly trashed Star Wars fans. So there's a happy ending to that one. She came out the gate swinging. She tried to take it to Star Wars fans, and The movie made, I believe, $900,000 its opening weekend in over 1,100 theaters. So I think that the real villain in the Rose Tico story is Lucasfilm, and the fact that she's not blaming that, because Rose Tico was there for no other reason than Rian Johnson was like, oh, right, Finn's a character. I guess he needs something to do, right? And so they put Rose Tico in and they sent them to Canto Bight and they did that whole stupid activist storyline. And then people hated her. People hated that storyline so much that they gave her the Jar Jar treatment. She has 1 minute of screen time altogether, I believe, in The Rise of Skywalker. Lauren, I've never heard your opinion on Rose Tico.
Well, it's the whole problem with The Last Jedi to begin with, is that you had the setup in The Force Awakens where, these movies are not meant to be something that really deviates from the general plan. You have the hero's journey. Stick to that and you'll do fine. Yes, it's predictable, but as soon as you start trying to subvert expectations or do something different, you're going to annoy the people that love these movies. This was a character that did not exist in the first movie, that wasn't a thing, and gets inserted in the very beginning of the movie because Ryan didn't want to do with John what John was set up to do, which was be the co-lead of the movie and potentially a Jedi. He didn't want to do that. So he was saddled with this character he didn't want. He decided to send him off somewhere else with this other character for a B plot that didn't work. And then he claimed that Rose was, one of his favorite characters because it reminded him of people that he knew and like himself in high school. It's like, knock it off, you jackass. We're here to see Star Wars.
It's everything.
Movies
it's all
have
about them.
therapy sessions for their directors.
Right.
Exactly.
And that can work if the director has really been through something, like if you make It's a Wonderful Life after seeing the horrors of World War II. Sure,
right.
That works.
Right. So, all right, moving along. We got some super chats to get to. Regina Sharp for $5 says there's a Rex joke somewhere in her noticing the quad. Don't explain it, Marvin. I will not, I promise, but I do get the reference. Andre Adams for $1.99 says Silver Surfette. Come on, Maine. And then Andre Adams for $2 says, imagine David Attenborough narrating Pedro Pascal's life. Oh, I wish I could do an impression, but yeah.
Here we see the...
Go ahead.
I had to cut myself off on that one. But here we see the actor in his natural environment. He's been emasculated over and over again. He's done things at ditty parties.
Was he at those parties?
I have no idea if he was.
Probably. No, it was something like that. Here we see the beta male in his natural habitat. It's
guys, you're just making me think of that old Honey Badger video on YouTube. If I start quoting that, we're getting demonetized.
Regina Sharp for $5 says, in the comic, Reed Richards designed a nuclear powered toaster. I think that sums up the essence of Reed in the comics. Yeah, but the brilliance of an octopus.
And sometimes you just like really dark toast.
Right. Ryan Damon for $5 says, Lauren for WrestleMania 42 chat next year. Sorry, Nolan. Cena winning was your fault. So we had Nolan as part of our WrestleMania Night 2 live stream because Nolan has never watched wrestling before, other than one other watch along that we did with him of an old show. So he thought that everyone won matches by throwing people over the top rope to the floor because he had only seen a Royal Rumble before. So we had to like explain what pinfalls were to him and stuff like that. Like it was just like really funny. So yeah, we had a good time. Tyler Golosinski for $4.99 says another Trish shirt should be one with Dobby looking creature talking to a picture of Trish. Yeah, we're not gonna do that.
Yeah, no.
No, I'm not going to do anything that can get us sued by J.K. Rowling because, she's got enough on her plate right now. Regina Sharp for $5 says, boy, Grape Ape just became much more disturbing cartoon to me now. Yeah. John Williams for $4.99 says, there is a worse example of this in Legends. A father orders it to his daughter and implies that he does it himself. He wasn't Empire, but Sith adjacent. Well, George didn't approve everything in the EU directly, I think, right?
I think you're talking about the Shadows of Mindor. They kind of tied that around, if I remember right, to Ceres from Jedi Knight 2 and claimed that her father had been involved in that, if I remember correctly. My memory's a bit fuzzy. I think this was okay. You're getting to a bit of an amalgamation character because her father, when they retconned this, was what was his name? He was the villain from the original newspaper strip, Shadow something. And they kind of merged him with a couple of other characters and made him one guy. I don't remember the exact name, but you're
Is this the
talking
cat
about,
who was like obsessed with death and thought that the creation of life was light side, so he resented having a daughter in the first place?
yes, that's the one. Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah. So Shadows of Mindor is that one.
Liquid Fox for $2 Canadian says ex Star Wars actors and actresses notice me, and all of us go no. That's very true. Regina Sharp for $5. In Nolan's defense, WCW did have the top rope rule way back in the day. Yes, there was a rule in WCW that if you threw someone over the top rope to the floor, you were disqualified.
The floor is lava, my friend.
In WCW, it certainly was. So that brings us to $357. We are about $43 away from getting another T-shirt reveal, and the next one's a good one. So, just saying. We've got only a couple more stories to go. All right. So our next story, I think. Oh, has anyone here liked the Predator franchise?
Once upon a time.
I liked the first movie.
Please don't show the picture.
I was going to show the trailer. We watched it on Mr.
okay.
H today. So, because there are things in this trailer that I think are good, and there are things in this trailer that are very, very bad. So let's see. We'll watch as much of it as we can. And I'll keep the volume very, very low. So here we go. All right. So right away, we have a trophy room. And there are a few things to notice. We have a Tyrannosaurus Rex head over here. We've got a human skull. We've got some kind of Gigantopithecus ape. But this one right here in the center, did anyone notice what that is?
Yeah.
Is that a xenomorph?
No.
No.
That is an alien from Independence Day.
Oh, whoa. Okay.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty neat.
Yeah.
Wait, so is that the
worry
threat
about
that
it.
you were talking about at the end of the last movie?
I don't think so. I think it's just an Easter egg. I don't think it's anything like that's going to be followed up on. But
Oh, well, they're not making another ID4.
no, especially not with the Predator franchise. Let's see what else we got here.
I didn't think you survived.
All right. It looked like Darth Revan. The landscapes look really nice.
It looks competently shot. Doesn't just look like CGI schlock.
Yeah, well, it is CGI, but yes. Though a lot of this was apparently shot in New Zealand. These are the things that you learn when you're a co-host on the HCast.
Oh, it's like Power Rangers in later years.
Yeah. All right, so the director of Prey. Now, did anyone see Prey? Because I didn't see Prey, but I've heard mixed things about it.
Yeah, I hadn't
For a
seen
second,
it.
for a second, I thought it was Birds of Prey, and I got really scared for a second.
Martin, will you say something?
I hadn't seen it. That was the one that was supposed to be like exclusively for HBO, but they actually gave it a limited release. Or no, sorry,
I think
Hulu.
so. I think something like that. All right, continuing on. Now, this girl, Elle Fanning here, apparently she is a synthetic that connects to the alien universe.
Interesting.
Something about I forget the name of the corporation, but it's something on the eye.
Utani?
Utani.
Yes,
yeah.
yes, that was it. Utani. She is a what is it? Wayland Utani or
yeah,
yeah, it's a Wayland Utani synthetic.
This actually looks pretty good.
Give it time.
Colors.
All right, so they got lightsabers now, which is a little weird.
It's not too over the top. Kind of cool.
That can't be killed.
And there it is.
All right.
It doesn't look too bad.
That looks terrible. That looks
the lobotomy haircut.
Yeah, they get the shaved head. It's just, it is so dumb. This is so dumb.
It looks like an African warrior with the dreads and it's.
No, what it looks like to me is this is the lady at the restaurant that's going to complain that she didn't get enough chicken nuggets.
Right. It looks like a beta. It looks like first I thought it was a female predator, and then I was told that no, it's male. Then I was like, well, then it's Pedro Pascal because it's just the soyest looking predator I've ever seen. Now, apparently, this is a young blood, so it is a teenage predator essentially and a runt, and he chooses to go to this planet that is basically the planet of death to prove himself and be welcomed into the horde. But yeah, let's look at the mandibles in action. Just
you know, when I look at that face, what I'm thinking about is the intelligence of an octopus.
Right? Right into your subconscious.
Oh, I don't like that. It's effects right
So now,
there.
now apparently what we're hearing is the Predator is the protagonist in this movie, which I think is interesting. I think that's interesting. I like that. Now, also, another thing to point out in this, hold on, let me find the right shot. It was one of the ones with the other Predators in it.
Didn't they kind of already do that with Alien versus Predator?
Well, yeah, kind of. So this is apparently the Predator homeworld, and we are going to see the Predator homeworld in this.
Ooh.
But now my question is, because now, as far as I know, we have never had an instance in a Predator movie where the Predators speak to each other, where we get like subtitles from the Predators talking to each other. Apparently, they hired. Nate was telling me they hired a linguist, and they are they're creating a language, essentially, for the Predators.
I think that's.
You have to say. I kind of have to appreciate though them because that sounds like something the old 90s sci-fi nerds would do. I feel like you don't see that a lot anymore.
But I think it's a mistake to actually reveal what they're saying. I think it's they are more alien. They are scarier if we don't know.
I would agree with you.
True.
I would agree with you on that.
I think it looks like they made a video game movie without having made the video game first.
Mm-hmm. Apparently,
Even
a lot
the
of the imagery is very comic book. It's a lot to do with like the comics, like the Predator comics.
I actually like the look of everything except the design of the Predator. Outside of the design of the Predator, I think it looks good.
Yeah, it looks different, which is kind of something refreshing. I feel like they're not just making the first movie again, and they're actually coming up with some cool stylistic choices. Some of the effects, like particularly the vines at the end, kind of touchy. Is this a film that needs to be made? I don't know yet, but compared to some other horror sequels later after the fact or action sequels, this looks okay. It like Lauren said, it kind of looks like a tie-in comic.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, let's see if we've had any other super chats come in while we were talking about this. I want to hear what you guys want to. Nope, we are up to date on super chats. So, like I said, guys, we probably have about 12 to 15 minutes left of the show. We are $43 away from another t-shirt, and I'm not going to cave. So, if you guys want to see another one, you know what we got to do. Regina Sharp for 5 says, no, my Predator will be misunderstood and go to prom. The writer-director, probably. That brings us to... I like that. Yeah, that brings us to 362. Yeah, 362. Math. Oh, Liquid Fox says, you almost definitely cave. Try me. I will not, especially now that you said it. There was a chance before you said that, but now I'm going to dig my heels in like Kathleen Kennedy. All right, so You guys know we've talked about it on the show before. The Mighty Ducks is one of my favorite movies of all time. I think it's the greatest sports movie, the greatest kids sports movie ever made. It's right up there with The Sandlot.
I was gonna say Sandlot
over The Karate Kid.
I don't count that as a sports movie. It's a martial arts movie, which is a sport, I know, but it's
Wait, so is Rocky a sports movie?
I would say Rocky is a sports movie.
Well, because Karate Kid is basically a remake of Rocky.
I guess so. I don't know. Well,
but is Rocky really a kids movie for a family?
I love the Mighty Ducks.
It's a good flick.
Yeah. So Emilio Estevez, who played Gordon Bombay in the original 3, and reprised his role in the first season of Mighty Ducks: The Game Changers on Disney Plus, which the first season I did not hate. Has dropped a surprising revelation. He wrote a full script for a new Mighty Ducks sequel movie. In a recent appearance on the Happy, Sad, Confused podcast with Josh Horowitz, Estevez admitted that he wanted to redeem what he felt was wrong with the Mighty Ducks Game Changers on Disney Plus and set out to do it his own way with a feature-length script for Mighty Ducks 4. But the idea might not have been what longtime fans were hoping for. Estevez didn't hold back his disappointment with Game Changers, the short-lived Disney Plus revival series that saw him reprise his role as Gordon Bombay. He left the show after the first season, citing contract issues and creative differences. Apparently, also behind the scenes, it was that he refused to get the jab. He left the show after the first season, citing contract issues and creative differences, but his recent comments suggest a deeper dissatisfaction. Referring to the show's run, he bluntly said, "I wanted to make up for all of the disasters that happened on the Game Changers series." So apparently he didn't like it very much. Game Changers was a modern-day continuation of the original trilogy, but it did fail to capture the heart and humor that made the films beloved in the 90s. I can admit that. I still liked it because of Gordon Bombay. But the series leaned heavily on modern tropes, reimagining the Ducks as a powerhouse elite team and introducing a ragtag new group to fill in the underdog role. While the premise mirrored the spirit of the originals on paper, in practice it struggled with tone and pacing. Estevez's exit to just one season left a noticeable hole, and fans were quick to point out the show's drop in energy and charm. Ultimately, it lasted only 2 seasons and was removed entirely from Disney Plus soon after. It got the Willow treatment. Now, but here's the thing: in his proposed script for Mighty Ducks 4, Gordon Bombay is once again at the center, but this time he's coaching roller derby. When characters originally played by Joshua Jackson and Keaton Thompson, aka Charlie Conway and Russ, pull him back into hockey, it's not for a new Ducks team or even a junior league. Instead, it is to coach an all-girls expansion team for a professional women's hockey league. According to Estevez, Bombay insists, "My girls are going with me. They have to have a shot." So it was an all-girl Mighty Ducks. Because nothing says Mighty Ducks fan base like girls. He described the script as charming, modern, and fresh, but while it may sound appealing to executives searching for a new pitch, it runs counter to what the Mighty Ducks franchise has always been, a coming-of-age sports story primarily about boys, brotherhood, and perseverance. And it's not that girls were ever excluded from the Ducks either. Connie Moreau was a staple of the original trilogy from the beginning, and Julie the Cat Gaffney became a fan favorite in the sequels. The team was already comprised of a multi-ethnic, multi-gendered team of outcasts coming together to do something incredible. The original films didn't need to sideline male characters or repackage the team dynamic in order to be inclusive. The franchise had already figured out how to do both. Guys, Trish, did you ever watch Mighty Ducks as a kid?
Yeah, when it initially came out. Which was
right, but not when
like 1993 or something.
Yeah, not one of your favorite movies, I assume, right?
No, I'm with Martin when he said The Sandlot. The Sandlot. Now that I've watched a million times, but
everybody's
not
watched The Sandlot a million times.
I saw that in the movie theater.
Yeah, it's not like I cannot imagine how few people would watch an all-girls Mighty Ducks.
Well, imagine this. Let's take Mighty Ducks, age them up, give them tattoos, wild hair colors, and substance abuse problems. And that's what they've just described for this movie.
Yeah. Roller derby? Like, come on.
Why do we even know about this? Like, is he having that much trouble getting the script out that he wants to get the buzz out there to see if the studios can kind of gauge it or something? Because
Disney rejected it. You might think, you might think Disney's moving away from girl boss stuff, and that's why. But I think it's because Game Changers did not change the game, and they were not interested in any more Mighty Ducks.
Also,
So I think the interesting thing there though is that that Bombay or that Estevez did not like Game Changers. Did anyone else watch it? Was I the only one?
I tried to watch a little bit of it. It seemed a little too focused on everybody's a winner. And
Well, that kind of was the point of it.
Or winner.
I mean, I like Lauren Graham also because I was a Gilmore Girls fan. Yes.
Now you're speaking my language.
Right? Oh my God, girl.
But Emily was the best Gilmore Girl. I won't derail it, but I need to.
No, Emily was the best Gilmore Girl. You're 100% right. Yeah. And I would argue she changes the most. Lorelai remains a terrible person in the beginning, middle, and end of that show.
And Rory gets worse.
Oh, and Rory becomes as bad as Lorelai.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not to derail it with Gilmore Girls talk, but yes, thank you.
You know what? That'll be another member exclusive where you and I just talk about Gilmore Girls for like an hour.
So many opinions.
Oh, so many opinions. She can with Jess.
Is this how Trish feels all the time?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
All right. So here's something that I think everybody can weigh in on, though. Speaking of Disney and girl bosses, Toy Story 5 will be about Jessie, apparently, according to Tim Allen. Is Disney swapping out boys for girls again? Is Disney pulling another lead character gender shuffle? According to Tim Allen, Toy Story 5 is taking a surprising new direction, one that puts Jessie, the cowgirl ragdoll, introduced in Toy Story 2 front and center. Allen, who voiced Buzz Lightyear since 1995, is currently on tour promoting his live comedy shows. But in a recent interview with WIVB, he gave fans a glimpse into what they can expect from the upcoming film. I can tell you it's a lot about Jessie. Tom Hanks and I do, Woody and I do realign. And there's an unbelievable opening scene with Buzz Lightyear. I can give you that, but I can't give you much more. Comment has sparked speculation across fan circles, especially in light of Disney's recent trend of shifting longtime male-led franchises toward new female leads, often changing the tone or direction of beloved classics. Now, while Allen's statement that Toy Story 5 heavily centers on Jessie, some are wondering if this is yet another example of reworking a familiar series to highlight a new face, even when that character has been part of the ensemble for decades. Here's my thing. We've already told Jessie's entire story. Like, that was wrapped up in Toy Story 2. Why do we need an entire Mighty Ducks, an entire Toy Story about Jessie? Anyone?
In fact,
guys?
I'd actually like to chime in on this, please. So,
Please.
I'm not even, if they want to make a Toy Story 5, an unnecessary sequel that should never have happened in the first place, and make Jessie a girl boss, outstage everybody, whatever, it'll suck. It'll be just as bad as all the schlock we've been seeing the past few years. But my only request would be, don't ruin Jessie's backstory. Because if they were to make a movie where it's like, hey, let's have Jessie find her original owner and how she's going to deal with that. Toy Story 2 is written as a masterpiece. It has so much depth in its characters and tragic backstories for a lot of them. And for the sake of a female-focused role, to make a sequel to a film that none of these people probably had anything to do with who are behind the scenes these days, it just seems to have, don't touch something that's already so sacred. You can make your own fan fiction after the fact. Apparently nowadays we produce official fan fiction because that's what our movies are. But don't ruin something that was perfect, and that's what worries me above everything.
Well, they've already done that because every Toy Story movie now has to be about some existential dread and just the horror of, like, the end of existence, the end of connection, the end of relationships. Ever since Toy Story 1 was just a fun story about toys that talk, and it did teach a lesson. But Toy Story 3 was the perfect ending. It was the perfect ending for that series.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We didn't need more, but apparently money talked.
I sat in the theater there and wept as the toys like joined hands as they like fell toward the incinerator. I watched with just mounting dread of like not believing what I was seeing. Then Toy Story 4 came along, and the whole point was, guys, get a girlfriend who will make you abandon every principle that you have ever had, and turn your back on all your friends and family.
Yeah, I'm going to show my boys Toy Story 4 when they start dating and tell them, know ahead of time who you are so that you don't get blindsided by some woman and decide, oh yeah, none of that mattered in the first place.
Right. You're 100% right. Toy Story 4 is a warning story. I mean, it is it's terrible. I hate Toy Story 4 so much.
Maybe Toy Story 5, Jesse is going to go and help Woody through his divorce.
Oh gosh.
I would watch that Toy Story 5.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. But I don't know how they're gonna meet back up with Woody because Woody lives like a hobo now. Like it's basically like this girl showed back up that you used to date in high school, and she convinces you to leave your family and become a hippie in a commune with her somewhere. And live out your worst fear. Woody's worst fear was being a lost toy, and now it's what he is forever.
Not to mention, them bringing back Bo Peep was a mistaken period, because I know it's a little dark, but when Toy Story 3 came out, they actually brought mention to her, like, hey, we lost some people along the way. Let's not forget about Bo Peep.
Yeah,
and it seems like, even as someone, when I saw 4, really enjoyed it, and I would definitely need to see it again to see how well it holds up. It's almost the whole movie is just downplaying everything that happened in the last movie. So they've already shown they're not against messing up what happened before, and for the sake of making a new movie, downplaying the dramatic elements, and it looks like they're just going to do it again. And also, one more thing, if I can say one last thing, aren't we getting to the point now where modern day children aren't going to connect to toys very much to begin with? I went to the Walmart with my cousin the other day.
Well,
and he was
I think
pointing out about how old so many of these brands are. He's like, Transformers. Are kids into Transformers now? Like,
well, I think that is the plot, actually, Nolan. I think the plot that I have heard is that Bonnie gets an iPad, and now all of a sudden, like, it's the kids are more interested in electronics, and no one plays with toys anymore.
The kids today are the Transformers.
Oh gosh. But are you guys with me though on like I've had enough of existential dread in Toy Story movies, or even just heartbreaking nonsense, tear jerking things in Pixar movies in general?
Yeah.
Levity, I think, would be welcome.
Yes, like just fun movie about toys. How about that? Like, yes, you added like the bunny rabbit and the chick that are Key and Peele in the last one, but they weren't that great. Trish, did you see Toy Story 4? She's muted.
Sorry, I was clicking the wrong tab. No, I didn't, but I know Keanu Reeves is a voice in it.
Was he?
What did he play?
Or was it?
Kaboom,
Oh, he was.
yeah.
He was Kaboom. Yeah. Okay.
Canadian Evil Knievel. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I feel like Toy Story 5 is going to the well one too many times, especially when Lightyear bombed out the way it did. So 10 years ago, if they were like, hey, they're going to do the next Toy Story is going to be about Jesse, I'd be like, right on. That sounds fun. But I don't trust Disney. Like my first thought is, oh, they're going to ruin Jesse.
Yeah, that was kind of my thought too.
Yeah.
What are you talking about, Marvin? When they have existential dread for a third time, you act like that's not shocking.
Well, here's the thing. Are we going to deal with the when somebody loves me? Which, by the way, on the Aliens ride in Toy Story Land at Walt Disney World, they play like do 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 do. They play like a whole bunch of like. One of them is do 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 do, and I'm like, this is entirely too happy and peppy for what this song is.
Have you ever heard the fan theory that Jesse's owner was Andy's mom?
Yes,
I have heard that theory. Yeah, I feel like she would have recognized her. My favorite is at the end of Toy Story 2 when Bullseye and Jesse are down with the toys, and he's like, oh, new toys, thanks, Mom. And his mom is never like, where the hell did that come from?
Well, the dad who's not in the picture snuck into the room and violated his restraining order.
Right. You bastard.
I love Toy Story 2 so much. I'm sorry, I just had to get that out.
It's good.
Like
Toy Story 2 is very good.
Pixar.
Toy Story 2 is very, very good. All right, so we got some super chats to get to. Let's see if we were able to get Regina Sharp for $5 says no, my Predator. Oh no, we got that one already. Regina Sharp for $5 says math. One of two of Marvin's Banes. Yes. John Williams for $9.99 says the Predators were absolutely portrayed as morally ambiguous. The first film, he acted like a big game hunter, but an absolute sore loser. The rest did the whole honorable warrior bit. Yeah, I like the honorable warrior thing. I also feel like when I saw Elle Fanning in this, I'm like, I don't need another 90-pound girl in a Predator movie. Like the Predator movies used to be about Arnold and Carl Weathers and Jesse Ventura. Like, stop it. I'm tired of watching the Predator go up against 90-pound women, even if they are synthetics.
And Detective Murtaugh.
Regina Sharp for $5 says, I want a Mighty Ducks that stars anthropomorphic alien ducks who function as a superhero team and play hockey in cartoon form. Oh, wait. Because, yes, we did have that. I actually have a keychain of that on my keys.
The 90s were a wild time, my friend.
So my buddy had my buddy owns a store and he was like, hey, I just got these in. They're these like Disney the Disney afternoon blind box. It's I'm gonna just give you one. They're keychains. So it could have been Darkwing, it could have been Baloo from Tailspin, it could have been King Louie, it could have been Scrooge, it could have been like a whole bunch of everything. I happened to get the character from the Mighty Ducks, and so I like the Mighty Ducks, so it's up there. If I ever stay at All Star Movies, it's gonna be specifically because they have Mighty Ducks rooms in there, and they have a Mighty Ducks pool.
Not to detour too much, but this is just a thought that entered my mind. I'm kind of curious on you guys' take on this. Do you guys ever think about how the Disney afternoon should have been an absolute disaster? Because it has a lot of the tropes that we see in the day and age where it's like, we're doing spin-offs of characters, but from universes, or we're going to take those characters you love, but we're going to do something completely radically different from the original source material. It's really impressive how they managed to pull that off with such good writing.
Killer theme songs, too.
Yes, very catchy theme songs. Oh, Tailspin. Oh, yeah. Liquid Fox for
Gummy Bears is one of
$2.
the best of all time.
Oh, it's fantastic. Liquid Fox for $2 says Angels in the Outfield was top tier sports movies. Yes. I saw Angels in the Outfield as part of a double feature. My dad and I went, and it was Angels in the Outfield, followed immediately by The Lion King. It was one of the greatest afternoons of my childhood.
I saw a double feature of original Angels in the Outfield, 1951, that was Eisenhower's favorite movie, and then the Disney Angels in the Outfield.
That's fun. Regina Sharp for $5 says math, one of the many diverse elements that make up Marvin's Banes. Charlie Zulu Oscar for $10 says Bad News Bears is the best sports movie of all time. I could see a argument for that. I mean, look, Bad News Bears is great. Like I said, Angels in the Outfield, Rookie of the Year is fantastic. Funky butt loving. Did you just say funky butt loving? Clean his nose.
Don't people like Slapshot? I've never seen it, but I know people
I've never seen that.
But I know people who've seen it love it. So I feel like I should shout it out.
90s kids sports movies died when they flew too close to the sun, and they were like, what if we made one about soccer? And they did The Big Green, and everybody was like, you took the great Hambino from The Sandlot and put him in a soccer movie, and everyone said no thank you.
Have you seen any Asian sports movies like Shaolin Soccer?
What? I have not.
Shaolin Soccer is made by the same guy who made Kung Fu Hustle.
Okay.
None of these ringing a bell?
No.
No?
Kung Fu Hustle rings a bell. Hustle rings a bell. Yeah. Okay.
Fun.
Interesting. Regina Sharp for $5 says which Bad News Bears, though? Yeah, there are a few of them. So that's important to point out.
In Tokyo.
Rabbit Wolver. Oh, by the way, Little Giants also is up there as best sports movie. Now, I hate sports movies, obviously. I hate sports, obviously. Like, I don't watch sports. I don't play sports. I love sports movies. Sports movies are everything. Field of Dreams, Rocky, like all the ones we just mentioned. And yes, I'll throw Karate Kid in there as well. Karate Kid is one of my favorite movies ever. So, Rabid Wolverine LC Killer 17 for $2 is, I think, goth people are working at Disney. By the fact that it's everything's existential dread. I agree. And Regina Sharp says, sailing, sailing. What is illusion? What is true? Sailing, sailing over the existential blues. Oh, my goodness. Well, guys, you have earned another t-shirt reveal. And it's one of my favorites, actually.
Oh, I see. Oh, it was no one's fault. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Well then, problem solved.
Oh my god! I love it!
It's Nolan's fault t-shirt.
Oh my god. Wow. I am on a shirt. I'm on a shirt, Mom! Oh my god.
You are there is a Nolan Thunder TV t-shirt
Mom,
now.
look at me.
And obviously Nolan, you get a cut of that, so
thank you, friend. That
you'd be a couple dollars per shirt, but still.
You are a good monster. You are a good monster, sir.
There are 2 more, so I guess we'll play again for next time, and I'll see if I make any other ones between now and then. I am currently a machine in generating these. So yeah. All right. So just to review, we have It's Nolan's Fault. We have I Only Watch for Trish. And we have the Marvin the Movie Monster Get Out of Here t-shirt in black and white and color, if I can convince our t-shirt partner to print in color. All right. Well, thank you. Let's see. John Williams says, I'll take your entire stock.
He was the first person I thought of. I was like, John Williams is gonna like that one.
Yeah, for real. No, I know this audience, man. But by the way, I love that the It's Nolan's Fault shirt is in retro gaming font. Yeah, that's great. Yeah. I was thinking about a shirt that was like, I think I said this earlier, like I bought this shirt so Lauren Connor would have to watch Highlander 2 or something like that. Like, some kind of concept of that.
If you do produce that, I'm definitely getting a cut.
Yeah, for real. You'd get all of it. All right, guys. That does it for the show. Lauren Connor, why don't you tell the fine folks at home where they can find you and everything that you're up to?
You can find me on WDW Pro Stream quite often. I'm on the Genre Guys with Lou Wasserman's Ghosts and Hangry Table. You can find me here on Thursdays. I'm at Lauren Connor on X and Lauren Connor 9030 on YouTube.
Good for you for saying X. I correct people all the time now because I'm like, it's been long enough. We can call it X.
I will always call it
it's not
Twitter, and I will always call it a tweet.
It's X.
You will not
It's
change
X.
me.
Look, I have spent the last week. I have spent the last week obsessively like looking at Tesla videos because I'm going to buy a Tesla this summer. So I am like all about just, I'll call it whatever you want to call it. Just keep making these cars. Nolan Thunder, tell the fine folks where they can find out more about what you're up to.
Well, they can find me on that t-shirt for one thing. But yeah, no, if you want to see my own content, I'm still working on that episode of my video game documentary Urban Legend series, Lost in the Files. You can find it over on YouTube at Nolan Thunder. I have 80s synthesizer music, and I do promise it will be coming out sometime in this century. And if you want to see some familiar voices within that video, you might want to check it out because a lot of people from this panel might be in this episode and in previous episodes as well.
Awesome. Martin Stone, tell the fine folks where they can find out more about everything you're up to.
Well, I have committed to writing some more articles, both news and opinion, on That Park Place, which I find a blast. But I'm also on The Lost Guys with Nolan, Trish, and Hangry Table. Just today on T3PO, we released our older Sequest DSV video, where you'll hear Nolan try to give me a hard time about being a fan of Kirk over Picard, on a show that relates to neither one.
Fantastic.
Sounds about
And
right.
tomorrow, our episode on Rock and Rule, a Canadian cartoon show originally intended for children, or cartoon movie originally intended for children, but made for who knows whom. You can find that one on That Park Place. It's a member exclusive for at least a few weeks. So have a blast because we did.
Awesome. All right, Trish, tell the fine folks where they can find out more about everything you're up to.
Well, my good friend Martin here just covered The Lost Guys. I'm here. Occasional run-ins on Tooney Town Wrestling. You know the drill. You know where to find me.
All right, this coming week, I think I have free time. We need to actually film Crime and Punishment.
Okay.
So you just tell me your schedule and I will work around it.
All right.
All right, and guys, for me, make sure you keep it here to Tooney Town TV every single day, looking for new content. We will be posting new videos soon now that I am back from vacation and back in the swing of things. Make sure you're checking out thatparkplace.com every single day for all the news that should be fun. We got a minimum of 6 articles per day coming out over there. Everything you need to know about movies, TV, video games, theme parks, we have got it all. I will be going to Epic Universe this week, and then we'll be discussing that next week as well. We will also probably be doing a extra magic hour on That Park Place's YouTube channel to discuss it as well. I believe Monday, if I'm not mistaken. So keep an eye out for that. Next week on this show, I'll also be giving you my spoiler-free review of Thunderbolts, and I will be fresh out of the theater having just seen it. So thank you guys for joining us. Thanks to everyone who super chatted, everyone who chatted, and thank you to Kevin Apollo, who had to duck out because he lost power at his house. Thank you to everyone who super chatted, just popped in to say hello. From all of us here at the Tooney Town channels, I'm Marvin the Movie Monster. Now get out of here!
Now, Perry the Platypus, feel the wrath of my thank you-inator!
Thank you, you piece of trash.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you! Oh, I suppose you want me to say thank you. Well, you know what? Saying thank you is like jobbing. Thank you!
I got a little message. Thank you.
Ooh, yeah!
Oh, thank you! Oh, thank you! Thank you! Thank you! Thank you! Thank you!
Thanks? For what? Hi-ho from all of us here at Tooney Town. Thank you!
And viewers like you. Thank you.